remember the swearing for the first few minutes, especially.
Got you.
And we are live.
And we are live?
Yep.
They're saying we're live?
Uh-oh.
They're saying we're live at 4:33. I won't believe it until I see a single chat message. Oh, it's on fan funding. I don't want to screw myself up right there. Where's my mouse?
Where's my snare?
I see it. Can I confirm? That looks like a chat message, but was it sent before we got on here? Nope, there he is. Let's go. Okay. We are back in the building.
In la casa.
How long you think I'm gonna last with this Kill Squad mask on?
It looks like it would be amazing in a winter climate. Like if you're like walking through the Arctic Circle or the tundra, you'd be safe. But
that is how I feel right now. It's like, oh, if I wear this, I'm gonna be incredibly warm, but I'm probably going to die of heat exhaustion.
But like, when people are traversing the desert of the Middle East and they be having like hella layers and that somehow like makes them, you would think that you'd want to wear as little clothes as possible, but like the sun is so overwhelming. Maybe this principle is like the inverse of that and is going to insulate the cold in there.
I feel like when I'm in like a real truly outdoorsy setting that my body can like sustain a lot more. Whereas like right now, I feel like I'm gonna pass out because I'm so hot in this mask.
Well, you're a hash brown town boy, so like off rip, you're used to a colder climate.
But being out here, I feel like all of that has been erased. And I am a total Californian wiener schnitzel. Like, can everybody just get their like screenshots of me wearing this right now, just so that I can like take it off because I have to take it off. Okay.
Kill Squad.
So if you want to just get the screenshot of me, that would be great. If you guys want to post me in the Reddit and say, look at this douchebag. That would be fair. I would understand.
You saying Wiener Schnitzel brings to mind my favorite Lefty Gunplay bar of all time.
What's that?
Said, what he says, it's Lefty Loco, the BP sickle, still selling nickels of Crystal at Wiener Schnitzel.
Okay. Let's start talking about something random before we talk about anything else. And for the record, Bricc Baby is coming. Bricc Baby is going to be here in like 30 minutes. Yes, I know we are 30 minutes late. We could have started on time, but Bricc Baby was basically like gaslighting us and making us believe that he was going to be here sooner than he was. Oh, can't take it anymore. Holy shit.
A perfect time to take the Kill Squad.
I don't want to get it all sweaty because I might need to rock this.
Yeah.
I'm about to go to New York. I don't know if it's going to be cold there or not.
I don't know. I don't think it's going to be too cold, but
it's not going to be that cold. But I don't want to like get it all sweaty and stuff.
I would rock that during sex, man. That's just fine.
Rate Lefty Gunplay as a rapper.
He's very, very good. Very significantly underrated. I don't think his best attributes have even been highlighted yet, and I think he's got a really high ceiling. Like his natural ability to just. So like he could go for hours, fool.
Right.
Like he freestyles legitimately a lot of his stuff.
As a he obviously has a lot of charm, a lot of personality. As a technical rapper, as a rapper's rapper, what do you think of him?
He's okay. So like
it's a little all over the place.
It's very that's I'd say that once there's more editing done and like crafting of actual records that are like I feel like right now he's in his development phase and this dude he got out less than a year ago.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like and he hit the ground running. And it's just natural raw talent that's unhinged now. Like certain devices he utilizes that I like a lot is when he'll reference
you're trying to take this from me? I need this. No, it's too hot. This room is boiling. I'm sorry, I can't. Young Barry Gordy is throwing his opinion in there. He thinks that this is like the Quran. I can't put it on the ground. It's like the flag. Okay,
you can't drop the flag, fool.
No, you can't drop my flag.
But like, I love when he'll reference older rap songs in like a really slick way. Like you could tell he's a super huge hip hop fan. Like he start like the song with Rowdy, he starts it off like, have you ever seen the Chevy with the butterfly doors? You feel me? Like he's like he even he's able to make things that other rappers would never make sound cool somehow appealing. Like you feel me? He said, no, watch me whip, watch me nay nay. That's a bar from one of his recent songs. I was like, who else could get away with making that sound kind of cool? Now like he has like some punchlines. I think that I think the best is yet to come from him.
Because, okay, you know what it is that, like, he's so gangster and so street and so, forged in prison that it's like a lot of times those kind of guys are not playful and are not funny and are not creative and are not like linguistically experimenting. Whereas you think of like some of the greatest rappers of all time, Cameron comes to mind, is like yes, he was like mega gangster on the tracks, but then he also had like this real
Great
extreme
googly
silly side.
moogly, boogly doogly.
We did Delancey Street, cat food, fancy feast. Like
that's bars though.
It's just like the craziest, like, and that might sound not that crazy to some people now.
That's great.
That to me blew my mind that he could rhyme those two things, and that me as a New Yorker at the time, I'm like, did he just reference like Delancey Street, the street that I just ride down and don't really think that much of, you know?
Yeah.
So I do agree. When I call, Lefty Gunplay might still have a little bit of an abrasion on his heart as a result of me calling him the Mexican Crip Mac once upon a time. And I don't want to like double down on that or anything, but I would say that like Crip Mac is someone who has all the personality, all the style, the charisma, etc. But nobody, like, he was never able to like turn his rapping, which should, by all logical means, it should have been popular, but he was never able to really get it there because, I mean, he just like doesn't know how to rap, basically. Like, he raps too all over the place on every track. You've never seen Crip Mac really like stick to a flow. I would have loved to have seen a Crip Mac that was able to actually like adhere to some like basic tenets of rapping like a normal person. We never really got that. And like, Crip Mac should have a hit song.
But the thing is, like, he never really had anybody like coach him. And I think that it's a combination of the artist has to be willing to take criticism and direction. Nobody really got to that. Like I know for a fact, like, yeah, obviously Kendrick has amazing raw talent, but when he first hit TDE, when he was J-Rock's hype man and still called K-Dot and all that, he has improved in so many different attributes that he didn't have because he actually listened. You have to be willing to listen, and people can't be afraid to tell you how they feel. I don't think anybody was really being like, yo, Crip Mac, maybe like, you know, hit that last bar a little bit harder or this or that, you feel me? No one's really like trying to guide or but then another thing is, it's kind of like an Old Dirty Bastard thing where part of the charm lies in just this unhinged, uncontrollable energy. Like,
and I particularly find Crip Mac's rapping, like, he has had songs that I actually genuinely enjoyed because I was able to kind of like look past the fact that he was not on beat and that his rhyming was like completely nonsensical. But I feel like, and to be fair, we haven't heard like a smash hit from Lefty Gunplay, right? Like, what is the biggest song? Is there a song that gets played on the radio?
Yeah. There's a couple.
I heard him saying that.
He's been on Power. He's been on Power a few times. He's got some real that Dem Franchise Boys joints is hot. Boulevard Baby. Now, here's my biggest thing for Lefty. All right. There's a producer out of the 626 who produced all of his, actually to this date, his 4 most streamed records were all produced by this kid, Benji Rose 626.
Okay.
He's an amazing producer, dope rapper. He's the dude that's doing like my girl's whole album right now, Shadowwork. He's producing her entire album.
Her name is Shadowwork?
No, that's the name of the record is Shadowwork. Okay. Yeah. Her name is Germ Free.
We'll get more into your girl as this goes on. We definitely have plenty of questions about that.
But yeah.
Okay, we're not going to, no Jason Love, but we'll get into who she is and stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. But I feel like I would love to see Lefty do more work with him. And he's openly said before, like, man, like, I love Benji, but like, he's mean to me. That's what Lefty said. He's mean, fool. Like, really, like, because Benji is critical and like, he's going to be like, nah, like, rework this or that. And I don't think, I think Lefty just be in the studio wanting to vibe. But I feel like them together are capable of making genuine hits that'll transcend region. And I also like I said before, like, Lefty Gunplay is one like reggaeton feature from Karol G or some shit away from being up out of here. He's one Drake verse from being up out of here.
Is he too controversial to have a mainstream like Latin artist co-sign him? You could imagine that?
Bro, they be co-signing Tekashi 6ix9ine.
Okay,
you know what I'm saying? Like, that's, in fact, it's like, it's a completely different market where certain things don't even like, they're inconsequential,
right?
To the overall trajectory.
Yeah, because and what is the most controversial thing that Lefty's been a part of aside from like obviously being a gangbanger, doing 10 years for maybe killing someone or shooting somebody or something along those lines? I mean, I guess those are controversial, but
that's
they're
like rapper tropes.
They don't qualify you as like such a, like 6ix9ine shit should like snitching /
right.
child case when he was younger. Those should like disqualify him from working with mainstream top artists. But I also think like once you go south of the border, it seems like everybody's a little bit more open-minded about your criminal past and whatnot, right?
If you're like, it's not part of the hip hop genre, so they're like these street codes don't apply. And the rest of the world, like if you leave America, you realize the rest of the world in general don't care about what we got going on in that regard.
But I'm not even talking about the snitching thing. I feel like in terms of Latin artists and stuff, it's like they don't care about the cancel stuff. That
yeah.
They're going to take a lot more.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I think it's so funny because there's so many like layers of controversy with Tekashi that gets lost in the shuffle sometimes.
Oh,
People,
exactly.
like,
Yeah.
forget.
It's too
It's
much.
But as far as technically sound, that boy Rowdy Rax got it. As far as you feel me, Chicano rappers or from LA, like Rowdy Rax, technically punchlines, bars, delivery, like he's a rapper's rapper. He's the kind of shit that's why I feel like old heads will be. That's the thing, like Lefty. And like if you combined their attributes, that's like pretty much the biggest Latin rap star ever.
Interesting. Because, this is the other day, I did another interview that Gold Toes set up.
Yeah.
Gold Toes being basically like, from what I can tell, the number one dude in the Rasa community who's really repping for the North.
Well, he's been holding it down for a long time.
Right.
Like, Gold Toes, like if you he's a Northern Cali legend in that regard.
But he has like a bunch of different artists that he's working with, and he was he's had a role with Lazy Boy, I believe. He's really linked in with this dude Bands.
I know Bands.
A bunch of other artists and stuff. Bands is the dude that I interviewed the other day. A lot of people like preemptively basically being ready for whatever kind of shit show. There's like a lot of like pages that are already hyping up the fact that this dude Bands was on here.
Right.
And I actually, I haven't seen or had conversation with Lefty really since we did the interview where I said the Crip Mac thing, and then the Crip Mac thing kind of went viral, and I know that he kind of resented me introducing that into the conversation of basically comparing him to him, because I think he considers himself to be a little bit more well put together than the Infant Logue General, which, okay, fair enough. But I left a comment.
He doesn't want to be taken as a joke.
Right.
Because he's not.
To be fair, and I also feel like Crip Mac could be sober starting today.
Yeah.
And his rapping and his personality, and I think everything would probably basically stay unchanged. Whereas I think that when you look at Lefty, I kind of feel like if he stopped getting loaded, that he would, I don't know like what it would do to his charisma and everything, but I kind of feel like a lot of the criticisms would sort of go away. Because he even said in an interview clip I saw the other day, he said, the only thing you have against me is the fact that I get fucked up.
Yeah.
Which is a decent amount of truth to that. Like that really is like being off whatever he's off is usually enough for a large percentage of people to kind of write you off.
Well, and it's a shame because a lot of clips will pop up and where he's actually saying some real shit, but then people just are like, oh, this dude's high as hell, and then Scante or whatever, they just start making all these jokes. But ultimately, at the end of the day, it just gives him more room to grow and show people different sides. Like, he don't always got to be like that. You know what I mean? So I for sure believe the best has left to come. You feel me? Like,
I like that. But okay, so I left a comment on this like random Foo fan page type thing that was talking about the fact that Bands came on this podcast, and oh look, there's another Northerner rapper on No Jumper, whatever, and they were hyping up something about the Lefty thing or something, and I left a comment and said, hey, I was just going hard defending Lefty on the podcast that I did the other day, dropping soon, and I noticed that Sir Lefty Gunplay actually liked that comment.
Yeah.
So we will see what his perception is of the job that I did defending him against somebody who was making comments about it. So I'm like very intrigued to see if that's enough. And also I noticed in a recent clip of Lefty, he did say like, maybe I need to go back to No Jumper. So apparently the door is not completely closed. We could reconnect, because like
that's my boy. That's my homie
views,
for real.
The one that we did definitely is probably his biggest interview for sure. And so I also, I feel like there's a lot of people who wanted to get their content with Lefty like early on, and are probably like gonna kind of like ghost out if they don't feel like the hype is as big as it was. Myself personally, I feel committed to the Lefty Gunplay project.
And that's great news. I'm in full support of that. I feel like you low key, when you like, people sometimes misinterpret your sense of humor. And I think that like when you made that comment, the Crip Mac comment, I think it's because of just like the virality.
Right.
And like that's the connection.
Yeah.
Because like when Crip Mac first came out and had that initial ascension throughout like his whole first year or whatever, it was like Crip Mac everywhere. And we haven't seen that until Lefty, and they're both these like dynamic, tatted up, like really like bombastic characters, or in Crip Mac's case, comcastic characters. You feel me? Like that. So like I see where the parallel draws there, but you know, that's like Lefty is a serious artist. You know what I mean?
No,
like,
and I want to see him perceived that way, because the truth is that coming out of the West Coast or whatever, we've seen a lot of Mexican rappers become big and become significant, but we haven't seen anybody get to like a really true huge level. And to me, I kind of feel like Lefty Gunplay could be like the Mexican YG, like a real
for sure
long-term icon. Makes the West Coast look good, makes his whole shit look good. I don't think that's out of the question.
No, I think that's like literally the trajectory right there. And Solus and OTR, they have the means to help him get to that point. And as long as
they're breaded up.
I mean, you know, they're doing the damn thing.
Where are they getting money from to sign all these artists?
You know, music.
Okay, that's good to know.
Music.
Lush, let's get into the real meat and potatoes. How did you end up here today?
I mean, look.
With what's it called? A michelada?
Come on, man.
We can talk about that, but okay. I'll be real with you, just to give the people my thought process. I've been thinking about making this move since you first came on and did that episode. I do feel like, despite some of the stuff that's occurred in the past, you know, when we were having that conversation and I was saying that I wasn't mad at you, that I didn't really like feel a sense of anger or betrayal or whatever, like that's true. Like I'm over whatever shit we had in the past. Maybe we can get more into it as time goes by or whatever. But like, I have to admit that out of everybody I know, I kind of feel like you are one of, if not the best, conversational sparring partner that I've really ran into throughout my years doing this. And like, I really, especially we're going to
have a bold statement.
Well, okay. There might be like better, but
no, keep going. What you mean?
No, yeah, I don't want to say like Lush is a better conversational sparring partner than academics or Sleepy Joe Budden or whoever. Like there's definitely like other people, but in terms of like people that have been a part of No Jumper, if you really go through it, who have I had better real conversations about hip hop with than you?
I don't know, Church.
Got nothing but love for Sharp, but you know, I don't know that's, you know, that's not necessarily what you came here to do.
Look, I get it. At the end of the day, you know, and obviously Sharp brought me on his pod.
And we could talk about that. I've seen a couple clips of that. Yeah.
Yeah, and the whole way it happened was super funny too, because it happened organically.
So you were having that conversation the whole time, and he didn't know that you were already added to the Tuesday show?
No, I'm pretty sure he knew already.
Because I didn't tell him, but I don't know. Somebody might have told him.
I think it was kind of like buzzing in that, because you know there's the UFC thing. You feel me?
Okay.
It's like a quote unquote employees only. Like nobody else was over there.
Okay, so Saturday for the people at home, UFC 300. I was, you know, my family was gone. They were in Japan. So I'm thinking, I don't want to order this fucking fight and sit on the couch by myself. We should get it at the office and at least have however many homies want to come through. So there was like, you know, 10, 15 people that came through to watch the fight and everything. And I invited Lush. And Sharp was also there. Was there any weirdness there? Because he's seeing you and realizing like, oh, he's here and this is kind of like employees only. So that means
I can't tell you from his perspective, but I know this, that like, so Sharp and I were mad cool. Like, and like we used to talk all the time.
Okay.
When I was over at No Jumper. If you notice, go back to the Lush one, No Jumper Killer diss track, like the first time I hopped in the booth over here, he's the only person I don't diss. You feel me? Like I didn't really get at Phone or Blasey, but they had just dipped. You feel me? Like there's like I didn't really get at Flacco, but I said Sharp the only one that tried to help me grow. The way Sus treated me was uglier than Kelpie's hoes. You feel me? Like and no, shouts to Kelpie though. I fucks with Kelpie. But that's just what the bar was. You feel me?
That was funny.
And so he's I know that he was particularly hurt by what happened, and you know, as a lot of people did, directed 100% of the animosity towards me. And you know, I don't for whatever reason, you know what I mean. And like he the first time I even started really trying to stream or do my own shit, one of the first streams I ever did like was me responding to you and him sitting down for the initial conversation. And when you kind of like we bike, you feel me? Like
I say that?
no, we still hear motherfuckers, you feel me? Don't think that this is gonna be the end. And you and Sharp, and Sharp's like, I don't know, Church. Like Lush was just too big of a fan, and he was like saying what he said about me. So I responded to that.
Okay.
And then like he's like, you was trying to sex play me to. So we had like a conversation after that, which ended amicably, and it was love. You know what I mean? But that's the last time we spoke.
Okay, and then you see him Saturday.
And then I see him Saturday.
Okay.
On my end, I'm not, you feel me? I'm harboring no type of feelings about anybody. Like I'm really like trying to fucking be an adult just in life and not let things that are inconsequential to my, family or my, I'm trying to be mature as hard because I'm fucking.
You were saying that like whatever you might currently be getting from your family / like your girl situation, that at that time you might have been like manifesting that shit through chatting with Sadie Perry in Discord chats.
1,000%. 1,000%. Like I was at a fucked up place at that, you know what I mean?
Manifesting itself in strange ways.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's literally like, this was a whole different chapter in my life. So I'm not really like, as much as I always love No Jumper, from a fan perspective, even like when we wasn't getting along, I'm still slick watching the content because I love the shit. You feel me? Like, Sharp, that was our last interaction. He winds up coming in. It's love. Like, he's being cool. We're all enjoying the fight. We're interacting towards the end of the night. Like, I think you were like dipping, Josh dipping or whatever, but like Icon's still here. Comparator, you feel me? My bender bro.
Newly sober comparator.
Yeah.
As see how long that lasts.
I want to.
Not trying to salt it at all.
Look,
I hope it lasts forever.
He's dedicated. So him and I have our own podcast we're launching. You feel me? Hopefully we could do some shit over here, get it popping, and like with the Mad D brothers too. But we got some shit called The Worst Podcast Ever.
Really?
And we just dropped an episode yesterday.
I saw a clip of it, and it definitely had the worst audio ever.
Because we're at his spot, Senor Sushi. I'm literally, bro, when I'm driving home, and this isn't something I'm proud of, but the motherfucking lines on the freeway were tap dancing, fool. They like literally looked like they were doing the Dougie. I was just like,
because you were so fucked up.
I was so fucking lorded.
You're talking about driving drunk like the other day?
Like, yeah, last night. I don't know if there's a statute of limitation.
Yeah, it's one day.
But like, dude, this fool, because he wasn't getting faded, but he's like feeding me like all these like.
Okay.
He has like this fucking drink in a glass of dick and all this crazy shit.
So
like,
that's the part that somebody sent me. It was like, look at Lush taking a huge sip of this dick.
Well, that's
shot.
I thought that was my Illuminati shaming ritual to get welcome back to No Jumper. You feel I had to kiss the glass dick. You feel me? Like,
okay.
But
well, there's remember that photo of House Phone?
I do not.
It was like him with like a salt shaker that was shaped like a dick. And there was like a huge campaign to use that against him. Is this Bricc? There he is. Look at him.
Bricc.
What the fuck?
On,
you got
man.
a plate of bread?
First meal all fucking weekend.
My boy brought the craft
What
service
the hell
with him.
is this? You got
that in what you mean?
I really want to know what it is now. You got like
Shrimp and grits. So I got 7 girlfriends right now inside the house. So they had to make my breakfast for me.
and I love how you come in with like an appetizer.
I'm like,
Holy
you
shit.
put this up for me, bro.
Oh man, I got a skull emoji from Sadie Perry right away.
I appreciate
Wait, you got Skull from Sadie Perry?
Oh my god. I'm about to meet her for the first time in New York.
She's a nice girl, bro.
Wait, you brought that in, you took one bite of it, and then you handed it to Mikey?
I'm not about to do you like that. I ain't gonna act too ghetto.
You ain't you feel me? Like you
I mean, I'm elevating with
You look good. Why do you look good right now? It's because you got the hair done.
the glow.
What,
It might be the hair.
Wait, you got like, from having 7 girlfriends?
Yeah, it's kind of cracking over there right now, Adam. I'm in war. I think I'm about to be divorced in a second.
Wait, that's really what's going on? You're like actually at war with your girl over what you're filming right now?
Bro, yeah. So the reality show is
Yeah,
like,
what's the theme of this?
so it's the influence of LA, but I don't know why they picked one gay guy. No disrespect to the gay, it's one gay guy, 8 girls in Bricc, and then Zoe Osama he just came back. So it's me and Zoe, one gay guy, and 8 girls, but they left me at the house with all the girls.
And
all
wait, they're
weekend.
trying to like get like a love affair going here? Why is there a
Is
gay
this
guy?
flavor
I've
of
been going
love?
crazy.
Bricc?
I-
Seems
you
like
know-
the gay
you
guy
know-
would not want to be involved.
No, the gay guy, that's my boy, Scooter. That's like my sister's best friend. Like outside of that, he used to style for like basketball wives and stuff like that. So they casted him on his own. But like for the influences, me and Zoe are the only two straight guys, and then it's a whole lot of girls that ain't had no dick in them.
And is the idea that you're supposed to fuck them, or is the idea that they're trying to find who to
It
fuck?
wasn't the idea, but you can't leave baby Hugh Hefner in the house full of hoes like that, man.
Yeah, how are you not going to do that?
Can we say the name of the show, or is
It's
it
called The Influence.
It's on
okay.
Tronics Network.
Or Dodge.
What Dosh?
Yeah.
That's another one of those things.
Yeah, but Tronics, I don't know. I don't want to say it. I
How
can't,
many of these things are there?
it's like a bidding where I didn't know that the people put up their money and then had the people bidding. So I don't want to say what network it's going to right now until
Okay.
production probably.
I really need to like learn a lot more about all these businesses because I had Ray J on the other day, like really hyping up this Tronics network, and then I hear people talking about Tubi all the time. Obviously, the dude from Zeus is like a billionaire off of that. Like, from my perspective, it's just like what, how, like these channels like largely don't really have like a presence on YouTube or other social media, at least in the beginning.
It's their own YouTube.
They're trying to compete.
Yeah,
they're
it's
their
like.
own.
But like, okay, we already have a huge fan base. What would happen if I said, okay, every single thing from No Jumper is going to go on this like $10 a month app?
They would probably beforehand offer you. It's like Caffeine. When Caffeine launched and they bought the rights to URL, the Battle Rap League. You feel me? And they gave them a stupid bag. Drake was involved in the whole thing, and like, so if you have a big enough following, you're able to. That's how even like Kick and all those platforms got cracking. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, they pay a bunch of people to make content.
And
or
Twitch
whatever
alternate,
early on,
And
yeah.
then you get paid off your watch hours.
Yep.
Like
Okay.
so it's more like a watch hour thing. Like you start your own platform, put your show on there. It's all up to you to drive the traffic there, though. So if it's not No Jumper, we have perfect controversy. That'll be.
But it's just interesting
tea.
because from my perspective, it's like as YouTubers, you create a Patreon or an OnlyFans. And like, granted, there are problems with those in that like the layout is not really like ideal. If you've ever like used somebody's Patreon to watch extra content or OnlyFans, like good luck going on the Plug Talk OnlyFans and finding like old scenes that we did like 6 months ago. You're gonna have to either pray that the search bar works, or you're gonna have to literally like scroll down
Through every video.
It's gonna take you like 20 minutes to scroll through that shit. I hate it, and I really hope that at some point OnlyFans gets better at that kind of stuff. But you know, in general, it's like, I don't know. It's an interesting idea to be able to have like a fucking TV channel with the app and everything. Because having the app on the TV,
Nobody has cable anymore. So
Nobody.
it's like-
having that app like where you can just click on it on the homepage, that's like super valuable. And maybe Patreon has that. Maybe I just don't know. I don't know.
It's like this. If a company like Tronics offers you like a substantial amount of money to make that like the exclusive home of your original content, and then you can still drop it on YouTube a week or two later or whatever like the period of time is, you're still able to utilize your YouTube audience, still able to get that revenue, but then you get this whole other bag, and like that's where people need to go, where the hardcore fans can catch it first. So you know, I get the business model.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm just surprised when I see something like a Zeus or whatever these other things. I'm surprised that they're able to do so well without necessarily like having a big foothold in social media. But I guess like if you base all your shows around having all these super famous influencers on them, it kind of like creates enough momentum that people have to get down, huh?
I would download an app to see Bricc Baby with 8 bitches fighting over him. Like,
Listen, it's fights too. It's hella fights in there. It's
Like in front of you,
PTSD.
real fights.
Man, the girl was walking out my room the other morning. And
So you spent
the other
days in
girl
this place.
Yeah, I'm like
You're
5
staying
days
there.
in.
Really?
Haven't been on.
You get my brain like working
swear to
too
God.
hard
Yeah.
because now I'm
If
like
you
having
wanna
ideas
pop
of like
up-
how I could actually like.
That's what I'm trying to tell you. You might want to pop up behind the scenes.
Oh, I don't care about fucking the girls. I'm just thinking.
No, I ain't talking
business-wise.
about. I'm talking about just to see the dynamic. It's crazy because I wasn't with it when I got there. I went left on production immediately. You already know, a long day. You walk into the house and then it's just, give me your phone. Do this. Do it. Like, hey, I need to chill up. Get the fuck back for a second. Let me get used to what's going on in here.
I'm not gonna lie. You seem to be in a better state right now than I've seen you in a little while.
you look sober as a gopher.
It ain't
Yup.
even that.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking. It's like it's gonna be the other side of the fucking. God damn it!
It ain't even that. Adam is hitting to the right shit. That's why I'm like, hey. And then I don't want to blow it, but I think they thinking about doing a 20 versus Bricc in the house because I'm handling 10 so well. It's too easy.
20, but the 20 versus 1 is normally like the guy just like having a little brief conversation.
7 days in the house.
7 days of 20 versus 1. Wow. You know, I don't think I've ever made it more than like 2 or 3 minutes into a 20 versus 1.
They're normally like real short anyway.
No, they're long. They're like 20 minutes.
Yeah, but yeah.
But like not a whole
They
TV show.
not. I mean, I guess it's cool for content on YouTube to see a motherfucker, yeah, but it's like, it's no substance to them. Because half them rappers don't even know what they want from the bitch.
And that's why they end up faking so much shit to get like some kind of reaction.
They keep putting out guns on them and shit now. It's like,
Yeah.
how many times is this gonna happen?
Why are you threatening bitches?
I've like watched a couple minutes of a couple of them, but it's always with like random drill rappers, and they're like 18, and they got all these chicks, and the chicks are like 18, and they're like the most awkward human beings you've ever seen. The guys always are like saying something about their BBL or like describing their ass, like say something a little bit to like offend them, get under their skin, and then within like 3 or 4 minutes, I'm just like, okay, I can't.
You just see your boy Lil Puke's 20 verse 1?
Lil Dump did one?
Yeah.
Did he really? Well, how was that one?
The bitch said, why you talking like that? You talking about, because I do more drugs than you can imagine, bitch. I said, that's cool. She, pull up that clip if you can. Oh, my God, bro. It's class. I thought we talked about it here.
Can you try to find it?
Sounds like my kind of guy. I like this guy. Right?
Yeah.
No, you ain't seen Lil Dump on here?
Nah.
So he's like Young Boy's artist, and
yeah.
he's
I
doing
did see
the
that,
interview,
yeah.
and he fucking explodes puke into his hand multiple times.
Be careful what
At
you
least I
ask for.
fucking went to the restroom, all right?
Listen, be careful what you ask for before a podcast when you're around the Bricc.
Yeah.
Because he like, oh, hang on, nothing since I've been here. I said, man, them little kid joints you be off of me. Let me get one of those. Like, nigga, you don't want one of these.
So you're saying-
I do.
You're saying
Here,
what you
as soon
want.
as he come in his mouth, I'm like,
So wait, you're
Also,
saying
that's why he
so he was gonna do the interview coming off of the shit, but he was like sickly and like
I
not
didn't
feeling
want
good.
them to see him like that.
So you give him a little something.
Yeah, and it was
And
too
that makes it,
powerful.
so it was too powerful, and that's why he ended up puking?
Yeah.
But I thought he was just like getting off of like a ridiculous number of
Xan
these
and
things.
a Perk is two different families. It might feel
so
the
he
same.
coming down on
So
the
he's living the
he's
Xan
coming
life,
down
and
on
then you
the
popped
Benzo
in
They're
with
not gonna
take
do
a
nothing for
Opie.
you.
Yeah, it's not even the same thing. You still gonna be going through withdrawal.
In fact, that's hella dangerous because you're going to be still having the anxiety from the
Exactly.
benzo withdrawal, and then that's going to take you somewhere else. Not that I know
Neither of these
anything
guys
about
have
it.
headphones. So we cannot watch clips if that is going to be the case. Okay. Okay, so yeah, I want to say
We were talking about. But go ahead.
Bricc Baby is clearly off of Molly right now. I was trying to guess it.
Dude. Leave me alone, Adam, please. Listen, it's been a long. All right, so I ate 3 times in 5 days.
It's just that much of a workload, or what?
There's loads going on.
There's just that much stuff going on that you couldn't eat. No matter what I have going on, I'm gonna eat.
Man.
Pause.
Yeah,
Nah, hell nah.
listen.
Not when you have certain things.
Yeah,
I didn't know. No. It was,
I've gone 24 hours without eating off Coke back in the day. Yeah.
Yeah, listen.
I used to do so much I could eat off of it. It was just like fine. I could sleep. I could eat.
Yeah, this was like a Coke vacation
Back
in
in the
Vegas
day,
back in the
yeah.
day. Yeah.
I might be a Molly or two over the weekend.
Yeah.
It might.
What's the Molly like nowadays? I haven't taken Molly.
It's all cut.
Yeah.
It tastes like
That's-
vitamin
But we've been
It's
saying that
whacked
for
down.
20 years.
Yeah, no, but when you take a Molly apart and put it on your tongue, you can taste the vitamin C pill that they mixed it with.
You can.
The
You're
vitamin
an expert.
vitamin
'Cause you know
C helps.
it's supposed to boost your eyes.
It
So
do.
what they do, they just cut it with the vitamin C to make it act like it's fire.
I used to do that all the
We're
time.
not
I
gonna-
had my own recipe, the Lush bombs. So I put a 0.3 of the Molly. I'd put some vitamin C and some 5-HTP, which is what you're supposed to take the next day to regenerate the holes in your brain that you inevitably caused by doing the Molly. But I was putting it in the thing with it, which is very dangerous. You shouldn't do it. But damn, them rolls hit like a bitch.
Yo,
I'm still thinned
I didn't
out
know
from
he
that.
was more advanced than me.
Come on.
I don't know Lush like that. Like,
Bricc.
hey,
Because have you guys ever even like been on a podcast? or-
yeah, we have, but
Which
we
ones?
never had a
The
dope
fir-
talk
with you.
with DW.
Oh, that one. Okay, yeah.
That was our
That
first
was
real
crazy.
interview.
That was 5 hours of man. I wish I had 5 hours to talk today, but I have to leave at some point because I have to go to the airport tonight. But
as far as what I want to hear Brick's input on this, when we were talking about the Sharp thing, we never like really finished.
oh
that.
yeah. Let's go back to that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I was listening to it when I was.
I told him he had to listen to it if we're gonna start without him.
Yeah, you made me listen to your diss. When I first started, I said, "Oh, I didn't miss the diss."
I'm
You're like,
accustomed.
Bricc baby lied to me. Like, what about LA traffic lied to me, bro?
I feel that. And no, because your GPS will say one thing, and then you will drive by a fucking school getting out,
And
and
this-
it's over. That shit will slow your commute down by 20 minutes.
Geographically, the school, and I don't want to say where I'm at, the school sits in the middle of a one lane coming down out the mountains.
I know where you
it's
at.
Like, yeah, you
I know
know
exactly
what I'm
where
talking
you
about.
at.
Oh, I feel like I might know where you're at because
Right there.
I had to drive to a
Kardashianville.
certain place. Oh wait, no, actually, maybe not. I don't know. Okay, wait. So he, I don't know if you know this, but he did a live stream with Sharp that after
Here's
Saturday.
the thing. So we're winding down after the UFC joint, right? Raiders there, Icon's there. Sharp is there, and he's like, you know, we'll be fire church if we did a stream right now. People wouldn't expect it. We'll go crazy right now, and then
Up here?
yeah, but that's
at his house.
no, but he was implying here at first,
yeah, he
and he
said
was
it
like,
here,
and he's like, Mikey, you could set it up, and Mikey's like, nah, I'm out. Fuck this. You feel me?
Oh, he
Like,
was talking about doing it.
Yeah,
Okay.
he was talking originally because and then like Icon had to dip, Raider had to dip, Sharp, and I was like, anytime you want Sharp is good, I'll pop up. He's like, nah. He's like, right now.
So you was like the little straggler. You was the last.
No,
I'm not talking shit. I'm just talking shit. You know how like all the girls spin off on you like, hey Sharp, I'll go with you.
No, I'll keep it a million. I did not want to do the podcast. I was trying to like be like anytime you want, other than
this time,
right?
yeah.
Except for right now, I thought I was being slick. You feel me? But you can't pimp a pimp, right? So that full off rip is like he's like, well, we going right now, church. Let's do it. You feel me? He pulls up. Now I'll give it to Sharp, right? We pull up to the liquor store. They're giving this fool free bottles of Bel Air.
Are you serious?
Just because he's Sharp.
Really?
Like, yeah.
Listen,
fuck?
that's because he's there 10 times a day.
He has a friend in the
I was thinking this is not like it's his first time here. I'm sure wherever he gets his Bel Air.
tab on that motherfucker.
Whatever it was, he bought 2 bottles of Bel Air and a pack of cigarettes, and I seen him pay $12. You feel me?
Oh, no. We got his whole block on lock.
Yeah, so it's
The
a
food spot next door.
yeah. So I'm like, all right, for sure. You feel me? Let our pain be champagne. Fuck it. You feel me? So then we go to the apartment. He's being cool as fuck. There's no indication whatsoever that there's even a sliver of animosity. But he did tell me beforehand, like, yo, is it cool if I like ask you some crazy shit or just? I'm like, bro, yeah.
That
You
can mean
making
anything.
Yeah, but still, like, I wasn't like. I wasn't caught off guard. I wasn't taken aback by it. Like, I feel like it just maybe that's what he needed in order to transcend whatever feelings he has so we can get back to being cool. Maybe there is like, I can understand having distrust, but I ain't over here trying to ride my way back to no jumper. What happened was, this ain't no motherfucking democracy. If you don't know, 22ster is the podcast Joseph Stalin. This is a dictatorship. You feel me? Like, my man's
said
going,
this is a dictatorship.
there ain't no democracy.
Okay, but if we're gonna do a metaphor, can I be like Kanye? Like, I would rather be like, I'm the overbearing, like overwhelmed maestro. And in my opinion, like when we're putting together a podcast, like just like Kanye's putting together a song, it's like, I envision this fucking person on the hook, so we're gonna go out of our way to get them. If I can't see the vision for a certain show, like even like some of my regrets from the prior generation of No Jumper is that I wasn't more overbearing and more controlling, because I feel like I could have stopped a lot of problems before they unfolded. I felt like I was being too lax, and if anything now in this like current iteration, I want to be more on top of the content and on top of like who's working together and everything like that. I don't consider myself actually to be as overbearing as like Kanye, and I'm not like anywhere near as like involved as him, but that's how I perceive myself. Is like I'm trying to put together podcasts that I believe will work. And even with this one, it's like, yes, we've been through a shitload of different hosts over the past year. We've been trying to find the right fit.
Yeah, but ultimately, the metaphor is based on the fact that it's your decision. You feel me? This ain't because he was like, my vote is nay. Nay, like a horse, because my voice is hoarse.
And I've never, to my knowledge or my recollection, I don't think I ever had a conversation with Sharp of any consequence about
Not that you don't take people's opinions into consideration, but like back in the day,
He stops a lot of bullshit. I don't mean to cut you off.
No, you
but
good.
When he forces certain people on I learned, like, over the time, because I used to tell them, like, don't have that person up here. Don't. But guess what? Me and that person ain't trying to kill each other every day. And this sit-down might stop a lot of bullshit. So that's why I've been open to the stuff that, because he like, oh, you want to sit out? What, you think I won't sit out with a hoe for nigga?
Right.
Like, what is you talking about? Like, I ain't tripping. I'm me. I didn't program with all these niggas behind the wall as friends. So I would love to show that side of everything when we are here. Like, you know, it's not always a negative with your ops.
And that's a positive because people don't even realize that exists.
Yeah,
so you're
like,
giving a glimpse into
it. Yeah, because he starts drama sometimes on accident. Like, it's never his objective to sit us down and then we bump heads.
And because if I have you do a podcast with a Hoover tomorrow, you know what narrative they're going to go? Especially Flacco. Adam 22 is starting a gang war in Los Angeles. Even if it's like a cordial conversation in which there is no indication that anything bad would possibly come from this. It's a gang war.
His titles are crazy.
That's why we click. But you used to try to, I feel like, regulate certain situations, and you would get like it was damn near like mutiny. Like everyone would be like, damn, why are you acting like such a dick? Why? Everyone would kind of like push
Even the
back.
way it fell apart was basically like me trying to institute some small level of change on the podcast amongst the hosts. And then I got this big, we're going to burn the house down thing or whatever, you know?
Yeah.
But anyway, okay, so talk about what actually happened on it, because I only seen a couple of short clips of you and Sharp.
It was a dope pod, you feel me? And that was like, the energy was chill for the most part. But, you know, Sharp, like I enjoy listening to him talk because I'm a soak up game, but a lot of it, there is a whole bunch of like, well, if you gonna come back, church, like, you feel me, it's gotta be like this, and you gotta earn your spot, and I'm just like, bro, like I feel you, but it's low key, like
not your platform.
Yeah, like ultimately, like I with all respect due to everybody over here,
No,
you know
I'm
what I
saying
mean?
it's
Like,
low key not his platform.
Yeah, exactly.
Telling you what, I can see where you
exactly.
From.
Like it don't really like that's cool. You feel that way, and I respect your opinion, but it's truly inconsequential at the end of the day.
But I'm
gotta
watching.
pick a side.
Oh, hey, and look, my Kill Squad application is still pending. You feel me? Like,
nah, we accept everybody. It's all walks.
Now that I got the sweatshirt hoodie part off, I feel like I can more accurately rock this. But okay, were you just sitting there the whole time thinking like, I'm already back on the Tuesday show, like you don't know what the fuck you're talking about, or what?
I think he already knew because there was like
Somebody might have told him.
There was murmurings like throughout. Like I think he kind of figured it out, and I actually never said to him straight up like, "Yo, well, Adam invited me back on the Tuesday show, so it don't," you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I didn't even allude to that off camera, but I was like, "Look, fool, like." I've grown a lot in the past year. I'm still a crazy motherfucker. I know I'm a wild card, and maybe I shouldn't even be like. I'm not asking to be put in privy conversations.
You never asked to be on any of the shows. You never were like, can I do a couple of segments on the news? You were never like, let's do some interviews together. Me hollering at you was out of the blue. Like when I called you the other day, you didn't know that call was coming or that I was even thinking about it.
I enjoyed the pod. Just the response from the people. We might have had little dialogue, but that shit don't mean nothing. That's just us talking. But like, us being here and me sitting here for 3 to 4 hours without like, hey.
That was 5 hours.
Yeah. So it's like, you know, and the people, the fans, they say it all the time. It's like on the news, you see cocaine bots in there and all that. They like, where? I'm like, hey, he might need to come back. I wasn't here when you was here. So, and I never paid attention. So when I came, it was amidst the drama. So it was like, all right, I'm not going to come in watching everybody talk bad about the people that I'm in business with, so I kind of, and I didn't know where you stood with the shit, so I really wasn't even tapping in. I see your Crip Mac one.
You're like, oh, this white boy's the ops.
Yeah, straight up. Like, nigga,
I get it, fool.
Yeah, like you know, I come from gang background, so it's like, oh, he from over there. All right, stay over there. We from over here.
And it sucks because I had to tear down my fucking Bricc Baby poster off my wall.
I was hot. I was hot when I found out he was a fan early on. I was like, oh, remember I DM'd you. I'm like, bro, I'm
waiting
sorry,
in the blistering cold for 6 hours, and he just said no. You feel me?
I DM'd him when he said that. When I said he supported, I was like, bro, my bad, bro.
No, I sent screenshots on my tweets from 2012.
Yeah,
before
like,
anybody in LA was slapping your music. Like that.
It's fun, it's fun to take people into the Bricc Baby lore because when Kareem was here, I did the same thing. We were driving back and I was like, listen to the song. And I put on 6 drugs and he's like,
6 drugs at one
like, this is
time.
him? What the fuck? He's like getting super into it because that's like a time when he was like more hanging out with me, listening to fucking music all the time.
And
you know?
he's a long way fan. You know?
And ask my homies, like one of my boys, my boy Smokey, that was here with me when we did the pod the one time. He even said, it was like, when that song would come on, I would get worried about Lush. If Lush is playing that song,
it's cracking.
Yeah, it's all back.
Just imagine what type of charge I was on when I made the song.
I was off. I had 7 once. You feel me?
I was on 7
or 8.
I could only say 6 of them. I don't know what the fuck.
But for the record, it was actually 6. That's not a Rolling 60s reference.
No, it was because people think alcohol is not a drug. So it says I was geeking on Zans, I was spazzing on perks. Nigga, look at me, roll. You fuck around and get murked. Well, I say something about Molly and now he pouring the juice. 80 something minutes, drink under proof. I was 6 drugs at one time. Geeked the fuck one time.
When we inevitably do another No Jumper live show, we must have a performance of that.
Oh, yes.
Sure.
Yes.
For sure.
That'd be ill.
If I start playing, you know what? When I started going through heartbreak, like I haven't listened to music. Y'all think I really I started to grow hate for rap after that Gunna shit. Like I haven't listened to none of my old shit, none of that.
The new verse that you put out recently on that song with Bro was hard though. I was like, okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I've been
like
getting into
LA
a new me. Yeah, because it's
That's
like
LA Bricc.
It's like let me just get into a new me, bro. Like you know what I'm saying? And it's because I don't know. I don't want to talk about that right now.
What do we?
It was very current.
Yeah.
Did we finish the Sharp story there?
I mean, essentially after the pod, it was all love. You feel me? And even during, it wasn't like because the thing is like, bro, like you invited me to your crib. I'm sitting here. I'm at your pad. You feel me? I'm not gonna like could I have like pushed back more? It's like, bro, like honestly, I feel like you're making yourself look a little bit dated because these conversations have already been had. We already moved past it. People ain't even tripping on it anymore. If it needs to get brought up again, cool, you feel me? I just don't think it's that big of a deal. But then again, I see where he's coming from because it's like we hadn't had that dialogue yet, and there's someone that was once close to me, and now we're working towards being homies again. And like he probably felt like,
where did y'all fall out at? Where
it was the original Figmunity breakoff.
Yeah. And then him and Adam were on a pod, and he had some words from about me that I wasn't feeling, so I responded, and he wasn't feeling it. And then we talked and squashed it, but there wasn't any communication, and this is over a year ago now. So it's like literally, it's the first time seeing his face in over a year, and like.
So did he sweet talk you into telling like my vote is nay? Did he keep it cool with you for like 45 minutes and then?
No, it stayed no the whole time.
No, the vote never changed. But like, but what he said to me is, I hope that I could change my vote, and like I hope he does too. At the end of the day, but ultimately, like I'm gonna do me regardless. I'm gonna be here regardless. That's the first time. One of the editors told me, he said that was the first time that there's ever been me and Sharp on a pod together. We never did a single pod together at No Jumper. We might have Mikey said he had looked through all the fucking news.
Yeah, because he wasn't really on the news back then because he still lived in Vegas. Yeah.
Yeah. And like, I mean, like if you read the comments on the video, most people were like, chill out, Sharp. You feel me? It ain't that serious, bro. But I get it. He felt like he needed to get that off. And like, we had a good ass time regardless. The pod was over. We kicked it for another.
So that I don't know, church. That was a sneak diss on the low.
I don't know, church.
Who else have you had a better conversation with? I don't know, church. Damn. Oh.
No, because I kind of feel that way about both of you guys. Like, I feel like in terms of like building a podcast, and I don't know what the fucking fans are going to think. I can't see the chat right now and everything, but I do feel like Lush excels in like an extreme amount of hip hop knowledge. Bricc Baby excels in a way similar, but like more of a street perspective. And I feel like I said this last week or whatever, and I'm really slowly gonna have to fucking take the under the chin
right there,
bro. I'm gonna look fat as fuck. But I feel like a good No Jumper show needs that. The best era, in a lot of people's opinions, was the AD and House Phone era before that sort of started to fall apart. And when you think about it, it's like you kind of had AD as the street perspective to some extent, and then you had House Phone, which is more like the hipster fun. Whatever. I feel like if anything, I feel a lot more confident that we can cover the ground that I really want to cover in terms of actually talking about rap music and the culture with us three than any lineup that I have previously had in place. And that's no shots at anybody else. And I realize that we are in a time right now where it feels imperative that we be able to have conversations about what's going on in hip hop, because mainstream hip hop is all of a sudden like way more interesting.
It's exciting
than it's been in a long fucking time. And it's easy to forget that this did not exist a month ago or 2 months ago or whatever. And like all of a sudden a lot of shit has changed. People forget academics was like bad PR after bad PR for like months.
A lot of people.
Not to take anything away from the fact that obviously he controls a huge fucking audience and that his shit was still going or whatever, but it was like bad PR. And then all of a sudden this shit comes up and it's like his perspective is so needed and him like guiding the narrative is so needed that all of a sudden it's like all that shit has been swept away and Ak is like seeing his star. I bet if we were to go to Social Blade or whatever, even on Twitter or YouTube, whatever, I bet that his shit is glowing the fuck up right now.
So you think the big three brought hip hop back?
Are we ready to do the big three conversation? Because I don't think we're ready. I think we got to do a little bit more work before we get to that.
No, we can do more work.
I'm gonna tease it.
Oh, you got an exclusive.
I tapped in with Champagne Poppy. Holy fuck, I'm gonna be on all these meme pages with my chin out. I tapped in with Champagne Poppy and I got his top 3 in the hip hop media. Now we got a few other things we got to talk about before I'm going to get to that, but I'm teasing that. I have the opinion of the sixth god.
You told him that you seen his swipe before everybody else?
The man, I did. That's a good point. I did see his dick way before everybody else. I should have sent it to him right as soon as I got it. I have the exclusive on that, and I will be releasing that by the end of this podcast. But I do feel like that there's some other groundwork that we need to kind of cover before we get to that. So let's start off with the fact that, and before we even get to that, I do want to send love and respect to my man DW Flame.
Shouts to Flame.
This is not an end of the relationship with DW Flame by any means. I do believe that he is coming out to New York. I spoke to him earlier today when I called him and told him like, hey bro, I think we're going to go a little bit different direction on Tuesday. I'm pretty good at judging people's reaction, their emotional state, whatever. This was a man who was not tripping. He was cool.
He posted No Jumper promoting content the next day or that same day.
Right, and then we had to have a talk about that because the party promoter put the No Jumper logo like 3/4 of the flyer. Anyway, we'll get to that. But DW, him being on the Tuesday show was like, let's see what's going on. Let's see how this works. We put in some time. I do think DW definitely has a future on this channel. Shout out to P Nice as well. I feel like the Thursday thing is going to keep working. Him on the news is going to keep working. We're probably going to keep doing interviews and shit like that all together. But in terms of the Tuesday show, y'all know that I've always been looking at this like, you know, trying to figure out what is the perfect combination of people. And at a certain point, I do feel like in some ways, having Bricc and DW on the podcast turned every single episode into like a Crips Unlimited meeting.
Banged out.
It was a lot of
banged out.
Crip dissection.
Yeah.
Let's be real. Because when it comes down, you have two dudes who are from very different places, but you're both Crips, and we end up talking about shit. It ends up being like a conversation about the intricacies of Cripping to the point where I felt like the fans maybe felt a little bit alienated because that's not necessarily what they 100% want.
The intracripsies.
Yeah, they went to go copping them blue rags and hockey sticks out there, man. Listen to us every week.
Right.
Yeah.
Listen, sitting me down with somebody from the other side caused me to lose it. I thought I was gonna be able to handle the backlash of us being together. I never thought that. And I don't give a fuck. I sit next to it. It's not my decision that you're not here on a Tuesday or whatever.
Yeah,
case
I'm not saying that was me, and I had that conversation with him.
Like he said, we don't make no decisions. Either we cool with it or. You know what I'm saying?
I gave you a call right before I talked to DW, and I think right after, and then I gave you a call like right after as well. So it's like, you know, this was my decision in terms of like what was going on here. So this is not like a Bricc Baby hating on DW narrative.
Imagine if Bricc Baby had gone. Imagine if Bricc had just gone on Discord and told everybody, and it got in like 3
we
minutes.
learn from mistakes around this motherfucker.
Because you know I hate talking on the phone, so I'm sitting there like making my FaceTime calls, like really like geeked out, just like, oh man, I'm ready, I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna call him.
He's off 6 drugs at one time.
I was off caffeine and marijuana just like every day.
I've been drinking caffeine.
Nah, but at the end of the day, as we entered NAP gate, I figure like, man, tough skin, that shit ain't nothing. That shit ain't nothing. And the homies got to, man.
And then off-brand gate.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And that
The
turned
ensuing-
into off-brand gate.
Right.
Me talking to a homeboy that with a private phone call, it turns into off-brand gate. Then it turns into, niggas got me fucked up. They must don't know who.
Kill Squad gate.
Yeah. Kill Squad gate. And it was like, I don't think the fans, I mean, they were heavily invested in the beef, but I don't think that we covered hip hop. I think, you know what I'm saying? We never covered most of the topics. I feel like you were frustrated with that. It was a lot of, what do you call it when you start a topic?
Tangents.
Tangents.
Yeah, tangents. It was a lot of tangents. I'm bad at it. He's very bad at it. I'm bad at it. But DW, he don't know that he in the podcast. He used to get an interview, the shit that I had. So he'll be like, and go left.
And sometimes I do look at somebody like DW and I'm like, maybe you should have gave him a little bit more coaching in the beginning, because like we try out so many people on this podcast that like very rarely do I like sit down with them and say like, this is what we're doing. I need you to be like this. I need you to, don't do too much of this. Don't do too much of this. It's more like coaching on the fly, because I don't really know what the fuck people are going to be like on camera until we actually get in that environment. Right. But then sometimes it's like, you sit down with somebody for 2-3 hours and you do a podcast and you've got like in your head, you've got 3-4 things that you're like, okay, they really need to work on this. But you just had a 3-hour conversation. I want to go home. I want to smoke weed and go to bed. I don't want to fucking sit there and have another 45-minute conversation.
Yeah,
especially when you might not 100% be receptive to it in the case of a lot of people. Right?
I didn't know what potting was when I came. I sent you a text like, hey, anytime you see me fucking up, don't hesitate to tell me, because, man.
And that is the best thing that I will always say about Bricc Baby, is that he came into this environment accepting that he had a lot to learn and had a lot to grow with, which in comparison, I know you're cool with AD, whatever, but AD is someone that like I put on the podcast, didn't give him really any coaching. Along the way, I'm start telling him stuff, but he already like kind of had it in his head that like, oh, I'm lit, like I'm dope. The people seem like they're fucking with me. So when I'm telling him like, yo, the interrupting and the tangents and the main character syndrome or whatever, he's like super resistant to that. And in a way, it's kind of like, fuck, well, if I had brought him onto the podcast and kind of told him like, listen, we're gonna do a podcast every week, and then we're gonna have a conversation afterwards about how it went and things we need to work on. Like if I kind of started out with it as a precedent of, okay, we are going to be working on your performance. Like nobody can imagine joining a fucking sporting team.
Yeah, reviewing game tape.
Yeah. Nobody can imagine doing that and just thinking like, oh, I'm already dope as fuck. Nobody can tell me shit.
And I think my sports background kind of got me, because that's what you do. You gotta study the people.
Yeah.
Like even if you know your plays, it's like you finna play them next week. What they doing?
And the statements, the criticisms that I had during those time periods, if you want to go back and watch the tape from podcast episodes that we did in 2020 and 21, the criticisms that I had are 1,000% supported by like their Reddit now. Like their fans are the ones saying those things now about all of them. Like literally all of them. And I don't like to like throw it to the fans and be like, look at the fans are right, especially because like their Reddit is heavily like everybody's banned and blocked from that shit. So like the fact that that's still the overwhelming narrative, even though like a huge percentage of comments. Yeah. So like I mean, on our Reddit, there are certain things that you can't really say, but for the most part, you're pretty much allowed to say whatever. Like they're crazy. Go look at it right now. There's tons of negative threads about me, unless you like go into the area of like too personal of attacks on people. And that's one thing that pisses me off is they always try to act like I was shaping the Reddit to like control narratives and shit. You know how many fucking times I loaded up the Reddit in the morning and had to go through and delete 3-4 posts about people's kids and people's moms and all this type of shit. Like I was going hard to protect them, and they are so married to the victim mentality, but I don't want to get into all that.
Well, the thing is, like, with all of us, you're kind of seeing us learn be in front of the entire world. We're doing this on the fly. Like, you had no experience.
Yeah, you don't get to make mistakes on live. Sometimes now I be like,
you were honestly.
I keep it. I can say everything right here.
Your crash out. Like I empathized with you so much at that moment. I was like, that reminded me of me and not understanding the nature of this game and the way content works, and like, I'm like, man, why are the people that are supposed to be supporting me exploiting me? What's going on? Like, like I felt like it's literally like echoing the exact sentiments I had during Fadegate with Flacco and I. You know what I'm saying?
Fadegate was great. Do you know what he's talking about?
Yeah, when he wanted to fade.
Yeah. Fadegate ruined my life, to be honest with you. Like,
Why you say that?
it just put like it had been so much positive momentum leading, like, in that whole way that I ended my 2022 and no jumper, and I was like, okay, like,
And drugs control our emotions too, though. Don't leave the drugs out.
Drugs and lack thereof drugs, being sometimes
That's what I'm
sober.
saying. Yeah. That's what you call a crash out.
Yeah, so at that moment, like, everything kind of switched in the narrative, and people started kind of like delving into the inconsistencies of my character, and it was kind of more put on blast.
And this is part of the reason why I really need to finish my class that I've like put some time into writing and stuff, is because there are so many potential or like inevitable character arcs that I need to prepare people for. Like, for instance, you will start to see people supporting you. You will start to see people being extremely positive about you, and then you will reach a tipping point in which they realize that they're kind of done praising you and building you up, and that's the moment where the fan base is going to decide that they want to tear you down. Yeah. And realistically, now people are so used to this happening that they're going to be working on that from the beginning. No matter you could have a good week or two, and people are already going to start trying to put together the narratives in terms of why you suck and why you're not going to make it, etc. So I really should be like warning people in advance.
But to be fair, you did, Phone did, AD did. They're all was telling me like, yo, like, they're going to be on your dick one day and they're going to hate you the next day. You can't internalize the criticism or the praise. Like, you just got to keep doing.
Go ahead.
No, you just got to keep doing you. And you did say that to me on multiple occasions.
But if
it was like a handbook, it might be a little bit more effective.
Yeah, the fans, it wasn't the fans with me. It was like, oh, this the moment I realized y'all surprised that I'm right here. Y'all not happy I'm right here. It just fucked y'all up that I made it to this platform. Y'all was never happy that I made it to the platform. So as soon as y'all get to, like, because at the end of the day, if my dog was on that motherfucker and a nigga asked him for something derogatory, on the dead homies, it'd be like 30 homies up there trying to see about Cuz. What a nigga talk about me for? We trying to see about what's up with Cuz. You get what I'm saying? I'm pulling up. Let that have been Slime when his career first started. Nigga, we pulling up. Let that have been Nip. Nigga, we pulling up.
Right.
What's up? Like, not like that. Oh, Nip, you cool with Cuz for real? Like,
but everybody's under different levels of scrutiny because it's like the world he's coming from, the battle rappers and like a bunch of underground people that he's been connected throughout his career and shit. Were they mad? Were they like pissed off about Lush getting a spot on here? From everything I remember,
no,
I saw nothing but positivity.
They were psyched.
Compare that to the gangbanging world where literally half the city is your enemies, and then the other half, a lot of them are basically your enemies too, even if they technically are like on your side.
The homies. Once you get on, nigga, I can go pop out off move with Bricc. You be saying some real shit. You see the homies that you went to school with.
And I like and I like that song too.
Nigga frown, I'll pop your
Really? Oh,
yeah. But nah, I'm learning to deal with it. It is what it is at this point. I text Adam after the crash out like, look, bro, that shit molded my character. It's all fuck everybody from now on. Can't even let that shit even.
And like at a certain point, once people realize, and this is something that you guys were always bringing to my attention, once the audience realizes that they could get to you, then like, and I made myself so accessible, you know what I mean? Like it was inevitable that people were going to turn on me and try to troll me. And because I literally put myself in that position.
You're very vulnerable, bro.
Yeah, you feel me? And people,
you should admit to being more vulnerable than you do.
Oh, I don't
You're pretty vulnerable too.
I can only judge other people. I can't see myself.
But look, you know what people don't like?
Somebody got to tap me.
I don't actually know if you're that vulnerable, but I feel like it's there, even if it's not.
As far as I'm a help. Yep, I'm vulnerable because I help whoever. Then when they turn on the nigga, it be like, damn, why the fuck did I even help? Cause it like.
But you also like just even being willing to share so much information about yourself and not just positive things, that makes you vulnerable as well.
I came out that way.
Yeah.
6 drugs.
That's like,
that's what I was going to say
about my shit.
If you are going to live your life doing large amounts of pharmaceuticals, there will be down periods in which you are vulnerable, even if you choose not to share that with the public, because drugs make you have like an extremely heightened experience during a certain part of your life, and then like a much more down experience.
Also, when you're on one, like Molly, I'll tell you my fucking life story. I'll tell you about the moment, like my father's sperm fertilized the egg that started my existence. You feel me? Like, I'll get into all of it, but you know what people really don't like? My bad. But you know what people really don't like is when you're punching down. People don't like seeing like bully shit, right? And when I'm looked at as like kind of this like somewhat at the time like wholesome character, like, oh, here's this like drug addict dude trying to better his life, and then I start trying to pick on Flacco, you know what I mean? Like, who was already getting picked on by everybody over there. It made me look like a fucking jackass.
And I'm not gonna lie, that when I think back on it, that time period might have been the first time that I really got like a huge amount of negative feedback from the fans. Like before the house phone thing. Like obviously the house phone thing was
that was before that.
The house phone thing was probably the worst time I ever got it, as well as like when all those dudes left and shit. Yeah, that's what I'm saying though. Like that episode of the Monday show where I was basically like telling you to give Flacco a hard time about or at least investigate where the fuck he's from. Parts unknown. We don't necessarily know.
Parts unknown.
He's from the same place as Andre the Giant. But like
from parts unknown.
But like, that's where I think it's Andre the Giant's from parts unknown technically in wrestling lore. But that was like probably the first time that I got that reaction, and I realized, because you know there's so many YouTubers that I'm cool with. Somebody like Danny Mullen. Danny Mullen literally like has like a pack of people who, some of them are like his friends, but some of them are basically like crackheads, like fucking basically like insane fans that like, I feel like Danny hasn't really like necessarily reached that arc where he gets like a huge amount of hate from his fans for using these people as content. But like No Jumper, there's a lot of people who kind of end up in that position at a certain point. There was plenty of episodes where people tried to turn you to content.
Yeah, exactly. Like motherfuckers like literally were like the Undertaker coming at me and shit.
And people will fuck. Maybe I was thinking of the Undertaker when I was talking about parts unknown.
I think it is. I think it's the Undertaker, fool. I think Andre the Giant from France.
But the fans will like yes, they like you as the person who like they came to this podcast to watch. But at a certain point, when it becomes too egregious in terms of you just kind of like using people for content, that's not good. But then you do have people that you bring on to do like an interview with that are kind of like total freaks of nature, that like they don't expect you to have any kind of empathy from. They actually want to see you tee off on that person. But like it was probably like a miscalculation on our part at that time that we thought that everybody would just like enjoy it to see Flacco get a hard time in that situation, and it actually was like, oh fuck, like the people want to see us have like real friendships and communication. Like we can't just like wholeheartedly turn people to content like that. Like that's not going to work in the long run. So that was an educational moment for me.
Right message, wrong messenger. Also, like for me, it coming from me, and like I became motherfucking Tom Brokaw, the investigative journalist. Like I'm like really going in trying to, you feel me? Like it made me look like a fucking dick.
I feel that opened up the door. Like me, from what I'm hearing, that's what you feel like opened up the door for everybody else to try. Like, oh, you turned down Flacco fade. I want to do it.
Or just like my own homies getting at me like, hey, you was supposed to fucking run that. Like you was at least supposed to go outside. Like why you ain't get up? My own closest homies, and like what I'm expecting all of them to be supportive. Like, oh man, fuck that shit. They're like, what you mean? Like you supposed to fucking like
to go lose your job.
Which is like, it's so weird because it's like
the same shit.
From a street perspective, a gang perspective, yes, that's how it's supposed to work. From a business perspective, that is never how it works. Ain't nobody at Barstool going to fight behind the dumpsters in the alley, right? So it's like we're in a weird place.
Behind dumpsters in the alley. Why did you refer to that?
Because at Barstool, well, I know where Barstool is. It's in Manhattan. There's not even an alley. But if there was and there was dumpsters, I'm just picturing like people going, oh fuck. One day they'll find out about that. Yeah. But
I thought that's what you were saying.
I'm intrigued.
No. And there was a snitch.
Oh.
You know those motherfuckers working on the roof.
Yeah, they had perfect aerial view.
I heard one version of it from somebody who was compromised.
Yeah.
And then I heard another aerial version of it from somebody that just so happened to be on the roof.
Yeah.
I will share with you their
Has no dog
findings
in the
later
fight.
on.
Who has no dog in the fight.
I don't want to know. I still have a Discord account. So
I'll tell you as soon as we get off here. It's hilarious. But what the fuck were we saying?
Some Barstool. It's not like in the business.
A real business, you work at NBC, you just never get to fight. Look at Van Lathan. Van Lathan, like, I believe, shoved a dude who was saying something that he perceived as racist or some shit, like, to his face at TMZ. I think he shoved him. Boom, fired. He was there for like 10 years.
Yeah.
They got rid of him off one push. I don't think it was a punch. I think it was more of a push yelling match.
Once that, especially if somebody can file a suit or on the company over your actions, you got to kind of keep your hands.
And especially that's like as the owner, you really can't be like, yes, y'all should fight. Even when like you and Suspect almost fought, like to me that was like the most obvious mutual combat ass situation ever.
Yeah.
But as the boss, it is like, oh fuck, should I really be allowing this to go down? Like, I don't know.
But I mean, if it's off property, it's off property. You feel me?
That was not going to be off property.
Okay, I don't know what defines the border of the perimeter of the fucking property or not.
Fuck, that's not property.
Yeah. But the thing is, with Flock, like really beyond me just not wanting to do it, I was like, motherfucker, I just signed a contract yesterday. Like I literally just signed my contract with no jumper. Yesterday, fool. And now like I'm supposed to fight.
That's how they tempt you.
Damn.
That's how Parts Unknown comes for you.
Parts Unknown.
Let me do a little ad real quick. I just want to let everybody out there know that Prize Picks is America's #1 fantasy sports app with more than 3 million members. It is the easiest and most exciting way to get in on the action while you watch your favorite sports and players. You just pick more or less on 2 or more player stats and you watch the winnings roll in. Get in on the playoff action and win up to 100x your money on Prize Picks as you and the world's best players take the game to a new level during hockey and basketball's season. You can now win up to 100 times your money on Prize Picks with as little as 4 correct picks. You can turn $10 into $1,000 with basketball, hockey, and college basketball entries today on Prize Picks, America's #1 fantasy sports app. This week on Prize Picks, I am selecting LeBron James to have more than 9.5 assists and Brandon Ingram for more than 20.5 points. Download the app today and use code NOJUMPER. That's one word, NOJUMPER, for our first deposit match up to $100. Again, that is code NOJUMPER for a first deposit match up to $100. Thank you so much to Prize Picks for keeping us going. Over and out. I think Bricc left to go eat more of his biscuit.
From No Jumper.
From No Jumper. Oh
no, Adam 22 from No Jumper.
That was a fun era.
Amazing.
What the fuck was
that? Was like the early.
But why was he even saying that?
Because it was like going at AD. It was AD from No Jumper.
Yeah.
And that's when the alleged fight ensued or whatever.
Yeah, it was crazy that those dudes make so much content about me when I got proof that fight was fake, but hey, whatever.
I have no fucking clue. All I know is me and Suspect actually did fight. You feel me? He definitely put the tips on me.
Have you seen footage of that?
No, I mean, a little bit, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if it was secret.
No,
I haven't seen it, but I heard about it.
It's low, you feel me? Like, look, the man whooped my ass, you feel me? But I went there, did my thing. He got me, you feel me? And it is what it is.
Let me ask you this.
And now we cool again.
Was it a square up and like a boxing match type thing?
Yeah,
or was it
up.
like a just lunge at each other and throw?
No. It was like we boxed.
Okay.
It was, yeah. You know what I mean? Like, it was like the best circumstance for a fight that somebody could get.
For how that might look.
Yeah, consider like, even though like obviously like, yeah, like the results weren't cool. Like your boy lost the fight.
Did you feel like it was deserved, that it had to happen?
I feel like I knew it's not what I wanted to have happen at all, but it was like what I wanted to do is be able to transcend that and be cool again. And if it come down to that, and like that's what's gonna do it, and that's what's gonna level it. Plus, low key, like when I made that one comment, you know, you kind of got to stand on that. Like,
yeah.
Like that was out of pocket. So he says that that's what made him really, like, before that he wasn't really tripping. I I think bro already needed that. You feel me? In his eyes, I feel like he already wanted hands prior to that. But he said it was that moment. But regardless, you feel me? Like I had it coming, and at the end of the day, I went and I handled biz, lost, but I still did it. You feel me?
I respect it.
Win, lose or draw. Fuck it. You feel me?
Yeah, I respect it. I mean, I turned down Milk's fade, but looking back on it, maybe I should have gone for it.
I mean, like, what's the status with you and Milk now? Because he came over here, y'all seem to have like a non-contentious conversation for the most part, right? Like,
yeah, I mean, the conversation was good, and I felt like but it wasn't like there was no argument.
That's what I'm saying.
There was no addressing of everything that he ever said about me. Because personally, I don't really give a fuck.
Gilligan activity.
But he didn't really seem like he was like motivated to really like get his, to stand on the stuff that he had previously said about me. And I feel like it did put him in a weird position because then his fan base seemed like they were really upset because you think about it, he's been spending the last couple of years basically like hyping them up to hate me. Right. And then all of a sudden he decides like, even if it's for the point of like, kind of joining together against a mutual enemy, he sees us or he comes through and does the podcast and he doesn't really like address the stuff that he previously said or whatever. And so then I feel like his fans were leaving him a shitload of negative comments and stuff. And I do know that there was at least one video that he put out in which he, I think, said positive things about me or something along those lines. And then
he didn't call you a Gilligan?
He may have got so many negative comments that he then decided to delete the whole video.
Yeah.
And so I haven't seen him diss me since then, but he did unfollow me and he did remove the tag. We had a collab post.
Bad bitch in it.
That did get removed. So for me, I feel like he's kind of in.
That's bad bitch in it.
He's kind of in the middle right now where it's like he could potentially go back to the anti-22ster argument. Seems like right now he's more just like kind of not choosing to go in either direction.
Finding another Vic right now. He blew that up. He got to find another victim right now.
Okay,
I caught the Milk unfollow.
He got the scope like this.
But he didn't unfollow Remo.
Yeah.
Which you would think if you truly hated me, you would unfollow my son, Remo, right?
No, you got to follow one of the ops.
To dislike.
You got to make sure you know
but he's
what
not
that
the
guy's
most
doing
interesting op to follow because he's kind of his Instagram is more straight up and down, right?
I'll tell you about the gang where the Square op is going to post everything. The nigga who don't think he going to die today. He going to post every
anybody who kicks
thing.
it around me knows
that is possible.
Unless we got shooters around us right now, we are not posting where I'm at right now. I have damn near fallen out with people over going live in public.
Oh, sick. So I be telling niggas up that camera and show my face on live right now.
Right.
But what sucks is sometimes they're doing it in a genuine way and they're just excited.
Yeah,
and
but
fans,
you fanned out. If I ain't doing it, you don't do it, nigga.
Yeah.
Oh my God. You know what deserves introspection at a certain point is, and I think this was pre-Lush Uno, is the No Jumper Las Vegas trip.
That was right. I was on No Jumper, but it was me and Disaster show, so I wasn't there for that whole fiasco.
Whatever.
So much of the lore got advanced during that trip because and I hate to go back to the old days. Let me do my classic rock
when
radio
Josh
segment right here.
Josh left T-Rail hanging at the fucking front desk.
That's when we found out what a T-Rail was because he acted like a total bitch because he had to wait outside in the lobby of the hotel for like an hour waiting for Josh. While Josh, if you know Josh is the most hardcore Batman fan of all time. Oh. And so we're watching the new Batman movie at that time and T-Rail's plane lands and he gets to the hotel and he's basically like calling Josh over and over and over, but Josh's phone is on Do Not Disturb for like 2-3 hours while watching the movie. And then T-Rail threw the biggest fucking diva ass fit ever. And that was super weird. Keep in mind the whole point of this trip.
Did they pay for the rooms?
I paid for the rooms. I paid for everybody to get out there.
You in a lobby in Vegas?
Yeah, if you're everybody else, you go to the casino. You feel me? Like,
well, you got your fucking your carry-on.
You put that behind the desk.
Yeah, you can do it. There's so many things you could do to like mitigate the scenario, whatever. So that's when we kind of realized, and he was like brand new at the time too. So we really were like, damn.
But mind you, traveling with Tiger and that entourage,
yeah, exactly. He's
a prima donna with Kylie Jenner and all of that.
But we know from little things I remember that he was being treated like a bitch during the Tiger days too, because you know that when you're traveling with the superstar, there's a lot of disrespect. There's a lot of like, oh, you got to sit on this couch for 5 hours while the superstar goes and does something else.
He always admired how that superstar got treated. So now that he's on a platform, he feels like Main character syndrome. I locked that in. I've been using that a whole lot.
Oh, because once you figure out about that, it's very hard to not think about it. Yeah.
I'm like, damn. And it stops you from having it.
Yeah. If you can always kind of check yourself and be like, am I making this all about me unnecessarily so because there's actually like more important things to talk about? That's something that you should kind of always be calibrating for in your head.
I mean, it's essentially textbook narcissism if you break it down. You know, it's like they're the same thing. It's narcissism. But I also I could understand him being frustrated about having to wait in the lobby. Like,
understandable,
I could understand,
but the extent to which he freaked out and then continued to freak out like days and days and days later on the podcast to Josh was just like, that was an early sign of like, oh, this guy does not have all his marbles. There's a reason why he fell out with everybody he ever fucked with in his entire life. But anyway,
I thought it was kind of a joke. I didn't even think he was serious.
It was very serious.
Yeah, wow.
It was very sneaky.
And then it's like,
but okay, other things that happened on the trip though. So it's supposed to be like team unity building. That's why I got everybody out there. Let's all be together and stuff. House phone, as soon as he gets there, is just with bitches getting fucked up like the whole time.
Fire.
Can't blame him.
My boy.
We all love bitches, so I can't blame him for that.
he should have went to Palm Springs.
He's kicking it with different chicks the whole fucking time. I can't blame him. But I can't kind of blame him because obviously that's like the idea was that we were all going to spend time together as a unit to like build up our camaraderie, whatever. Then AD goes on OT Genesis's time and is just spending all his fucking time with him instead of kicking with the unit. And then there's
that's what happened to his career. What'd you say?
What?
No, he's talking about literally on the trip.
On the trip, he's just like kicking it with OT Genesis the whole time instead of being with the unit.
I said what I said.
Oh. Shit. You got AD grudge now?
No, that's my boy. I feel like that he spent more time with OT and not on himself when he had the hit record. He could have put more of that energy in himself. They still best friends, but Cuz had a record and he could have separated, and you seen him appearing with OT at all the clubs instead of.
That's interesting. I didn't know that was like
we've been talking.
order.
I'm not gonna say the names, but me and the Back Gang alumni, my Kid Inc., the people that's how I'm connected.
You think AD kind of squandered the moment?
Yeah, bro. You get what I'm saying? Like,
but doing
he was talented enough to do this.
He was doing it in a way where he's like trying to just back his boy's play though.
No, it wasn't like, oh, I'm going. It's like I'm with my boy, and he's having slightly a bit more emotion than me, so he's probably booked 4 times a week. But how is that club gonna pay you when they know you coming for free when OT come? Pass him a mic.
Yeah, that's
crazy
for a free show.
Okay, AD's career started in 2015. Was it over by 2016? Like musically, you think it went through to 2017? That's crazy.
Because
we should throw him a party for the 10-year anniversary of him falling off.
Fuck you.
No, I'm serious.
Yeah, we could do it.
He got some joints, though. He do got some joints.
Yeah, but okay, one time, as long as we're talking about this, I didn't plan on talking about this, but I saw a clip one time. You got to give it to the Punstigator. I saw him stand on business with AD, basically telling AD that he's like the most lazy fucking artist he ever worked with. And when I heard all the excuses that AD had inside of him, like immediately on deck, and this is not me hating, this is my actual opinion. This is not narrative spinning.
Yeah.
When I heard all the excuses about why he hadn't put out music in all these years, I was just kind of like blown away of like the people I know who like really love making music and are really good at making music. It's part of their existence. Like they don't get to take a break from it. It controls them. It's the same thing with like me and like this shit. Like if I tried to stop doing podcasts, it would be almost impossible for me. And that's why I was always kind of surprised that AD didn't like take all that No Jumper clout and spin that in the early days into the music side of things. Because if he had taken the momentum that he had during like COVID and shit and actually like put it all into a project, it would probably be like a classic project. It would probably be his best project.
That's like me not dropping in 3 weeks. Like, why wouldn't I?
I think it gets intimidating.
Part of what I just said does kind of apply to you as well.
That's what I said. I wasn't rapping. I said, fuck rap. I slept in the studio. I don't mean to take away from the Vegas trip. I slept in the studio on Sony's budget. And Sony, y'all owe me some money. Listen, on Sony's budget from the time I got out of jail 2020 all the way up until the fucking YSL shit. I'm talking about and I got like 200 something songs in the cut. Ask Remo how hard it was to pick 11 songs.
He helped you pick the songs for your next project?
He couldn't even because I got him in so many different spots.
And some of them are old as fuck?
Like 30. I gave Heath like 20. I'm going through 50. Me and Gordy going through some shit.
Trying to like really figure out what the best joints were?
Let's narrow it down real quick. Like,
wow. It's also really difficult once you get that hit single. Sometimes it becomes pressure. and you have this like standard that you're now
Because
held
you got
to.
it structured around that sound. You know, I
Right.
got several different sounds, so it's like not enough is taking off right now. So let's give a little not enough. But the LA shit is taking off too in the city. So like, let's not veer away from the city because I never gave my city no clout on my music.
Because
so.
honestly, like when I'm saying that AD made a mistake by not putting out music during that time period, for sure, like I think that you should definitely like seize this moment and shit because like just the fact that if any of the songs have potential, if we clear the album on this, we could be playing some of them. We could be fucking doing songs as the intros and shit. Like we would all be happy to do that, right?
Since I've been working here, I don't even put YouTube content. Anybody, go ahead.
But you could do
React.
you could just like clear our channel so that we can like promote the shit and then still claim it on other people's shit.
I was new to it and I seen that it was striking shit and I'm like, I need them to go ahead and be able to play that.
But I also do feel like that if you are trying to like if your career is not like completely solidified, like if you're fucking Tyga and you're getting your music claimed by everybody, or even if you just signed to a label, for sure, like you made stuff that's super popular, you should claim it. But if you're kind of like more trying to get popping, create an environment in which the streamers and everybody wants to play your fucking music. That's sick, yeah.
And that's why SoundCloud was so cracking. I think also like a big thing about AD's trajectory was affected by just the way the sound of LA shifted. And when he was rising to popularity, it's like the peak of the Mustard era and all that shit. And that sound,
the energy went from like drunk Thizzle
to the Draco, you feel me? Lean slur.
AD kind of rapped like a battle rapper.
Which
a little bit too much. When you compare it to like all the hot artists from LA being Dracos and Draco Juniors.
He wasn't popping no Zans.
And he could really rap for real. He's like, AD is from the cloth of an MC. He used to battle at this place called The Pit way back. You remember The Pit? Or were you in LA at that time?
Man, you are a fucking legend of battle rap for real. He's
know about
AD
The Pit?
used to battle rap at The Pit. I've heard of it, but like,
didn't he used to rap at the right track?
He battled,
At the right
dude, he
track.
battled fucking Daylight, fool. That fool battled Daylight back in the day.
Oh, really?
At The Pit.
Yo,
That's legendary.
The Pit's not the right track, is it?
I was trolling. That's the first troll thing I said this whole episode.
No, because what if you was renting out the right track for battles while it ain't no club? Like, hey, we got the studio in the backyard. Like, we better have a battle at it. Call it The Pit. It's crazy.
I can't even put that on AD. AD is the one who told me about the right track, so I can't really like,
You know that's right there in my hood, like the borderline of my hood and A-Trade.
So you could show me the spot.
It's on Florence and Western.
Might have to go take a look. I want to do a documentary about it.
You might as well stop at Charlie's too.
We have no
Well,
footage.
you know we got a strip club right on 11th Avenue too.
For real?
Yeah.
I like it. Hey, let me read these donations real quick so I don't forget. Alcoholic Gamer sent $5. Said, I got a drink y'all gonna enjoy. The smoothest drink from me. Malibu and Sprite and pink lemonade. Enjoy drinks on me, y'all. Pour up and turn up. Shout out Lush also. Shout out Alcoholic Gamer. Jebediah III said, DW throwing rocks at cars on the 405.
No, he's not.
I think he's chilling.
That is funny, but also I feel like we have covered this, and we are definitely on good terms with DW. We're going to be tapping him in New York, so that should kill the narrative dead. We're still big DW
Are
fans.
y'all going to be cribbing every opportunity out there?
I will not be cripping. I will be on my white boy shit hard.
No, I'm saying if y'all leave, are y'all doing a live from there or he's leaving after that?
I'm not doing anything live out there. I'm doing a bunch of interviews with people there, but actually, I don't know if he's filming Thursday. I feel like he might leave Friday because Dub is leaving Friday.
New York, the 420 thing is supposed to be like the mecca now.
That's why we're going. Because everybody says 420 is like insane in New York.
Yep, that's what I'm saying. But it's new to them. It's exotic. So
You gonna get a text from me Saturday morning. Well, tell me.
Well, they told me that they told me a couple years ago 420 in LA was crazy. And that it's not really anymore, which is weird because everybody's already burnt out to weed out here, right?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like LA, you can't openly party like that. Like, I just came from Austin, and I'm like, I wish they threw 420 at fucking South by Southwest. Like,
because you could just get a house, get a couple security, hey, 500 people pack into this house and party.
Like, like, come on, bro.
I feel like if something like South by was in LA, like it would be kind of ugly though.
It'd be dangerous.
Did you watch the Freaknik documentary?
Freaknik, come on, man.
But that's what you think when you're watching the Freaknik documentary is like, holy shit, look how good life was in 1995 or whatever, when everything was pure. And then as time goes by, it's all like you cannot imagine that shit anymore.
But just think about all the diseases that were spread, babies that were conceived, just like everybody, auntie,
all the people that got beat the fuck up and shot that they didn't mention in the documentary.
Yeah. They tried to keep it clean. I'm like, oh, this is a clean way of telling a story. Like we've all heard stories about the freak nigga.
It's not like they invented drug dealing like last week. You know, like I'm sure there was plenty of shit going on.
But do you watch the BMF series?
I haven't. I'm trying to get on it though. I want to start watching it.
They moved to Atlanta. Before they moved to Atlanta, they visited Atlanta and they went to Freaknik and they ended up knocking a nigga down at Freaknik.
See, there's one.
So like that's one untold story. Like, what about Big Meech's body at Freaknik?
Wait. Oh.
In the story.
Really?
You know it could be fiction.
That'd be badass.
Yeah.
Just like as lore. Obviously, rest in peace to the dead dude, but damn.
I mean, like you said, the legend is a legend regardless.
Assad Aziz said they're currently looking for Bricc in a cloud of unfiltered cigarette smoke and opiate dust on the dead homies. He said that before you got here. K Blowin said make Lush permanent. Shout out to K Blowin.
Yep.
Smoke Dog said smoke dog at the vet. I go to the vet twice a year to make sure I got that dog in me. Shit. Much love from the Chicano Picasso named Pipasso. Wow, that's a good one. Dosage my Dougie said, I told y'all Drake was a hoe. He getting all this smoke because I dared to come to All-Star and he went to a soccer game and everybody knows why. I'm God. This person seems like they belong in a mental asylum.
No, that's the Kill Squad people. That's my fans. They hide in the
okay, that's what that's about. Derek Jameson said, Adam, that pod with Selena was fire. You think you can get MLK on the pod again without the 3-year wait? Get him on there with wax.
Milk,
with
I'm
wax.
assuming.
Great entertainment. I assume he means milk.
I'm assuming.
I thought you were talking about Martin Luther King.
That's what I thought too.
It's getting crazy.
With AI, anything's possible nowadays. I have a dream.
Selena, I was watching that shit last night. You know I don't never watch y'all shit.
You like it?
But the throat go, you know I gotta tap in with.
You never got that neck, huh?
No, I was
Yet.
No. Look at him.
Yet.
Look at him. Nah. Make this a reel. Look at him. Don't make it a reel. But nah, she's lit, bro. There's a fucking Pillow Talk reel that they posted today of her basically like she's talking to Kazumi. I never looked better in a clip. She's talking to Kazumi. She's like, oh my God, you fucked Adam. You fucked and sucked him. Oh my God, he's so good. So just Kazumi's like, yeah, I fucked and sucked him. I'm watching it just like what the fuck is this? Like,
they did.
These bitches are really bragging about fucking me. Like,
watch when the show comes
you're
out.
Gross.
What a time to be alive.
Get a hold of yourself, said Lush. Bring it back like Narcan.
Hey, come on.
Crip Street 2 said, drop that proof that China Mac and 80s fight was fake or we don't believe you. Why you keep saying it but not proving it? You got to keep something in the tuck. 318J, and just try to get homeboy to say that it was real on camera and then watch his body movement. Okay. 318J said, what's Sam Bricc? Shout out from Louisiana. I know I'm late, but I fuck with that not enough. See? Okay, fucking with you.
Be outside, nigga.
Get a hold of yourself. Say Cocaine Bot, bring it back. And then
the same dude that tweeted the druggie shit.
I know. And then Duado Taylor said, I want y'all to tap in with my boy. He was signed to PNB Rock, Bricc, Kill Squad. Okay, we will tap in with your boy. Anyway, I feel like now is an opportune time for me to acknowledge some of the hoopla that I've been involved with for the last 24 hours, I guess, maybe a little bit longer.
What's cracking?
Basically, Academics and Joe Budden did a podcast together. And on that podcast, Joe Budden, they didn't really talk about me. At one point, Joe Budden says this quote, and this is what I'm responding to. And I want everyone to keep in mind the parameters for this debate that Sleepy Joe Budden established. Let's talk about it. He said on that podcast, he said, speaking of No Jumper, have you looked at their views lately? Axe says, no, why? He says, I looked at it and it's not looking too good. Some shit like that. So I hop on my story and I say, which is a fact, if you take a look at, let's talk about the big players and how many views they're doing on YouTube. Because keep in mind, he said it was about views. We could talk about the quality of the content. We could talk about everything, but he made it about the views. You have Vlad. Vlad is knocking down around 50 million views on his channel every single month. Now, that is very impressive. Now, as long as we're going to add qualifiers, Vlad does drop everything clip by clip. So that does give him an advantage because he's kind of got everything on one channel and he's got all these clips. They come out.
Vast catalog.
For us, we've always kind of been more about dropping the full thing. We've done experiments with dropping the clips first and then the full pod. But ultimately, I've kind of arrived back at dropping the full pod. To me, it's kind of like, even if it's going to make us a little bit less money and everything, I feel like it's in service to the fans. They would rather be able to have the choice to watch the whole thing, and then we also upload the clips to the Clips channel. It's not necessarily the best for the business, but I think that that's probably the best thing for the fans.
I'm not going to negate too much, but them clips would be getting motherfuckers in trouble.
Well, we still do clips.
No.
They're just on
they
the Clips
only
channel.
watch the clip, right?
Okay, yeah.
And then they don't see the whole pod, and then it could be some bullshit that went on, but you didn't see 2 minutes before or 2 minutes after how it started and how it was resolved.
Right.
And now you guys
They lose the
are
context.
Judging, you guys are judging just off of this clip.
Right.
And every time that a homie asked me about NAP Gate, I asked him, "Did you watch my whole shit?"
Exactly.
Did you?
But the fact that it's out in full is usually not going to it's not going to make people watch the whole thing. Like, just the fact that it exists doesn't change the fact that the clip is going to be viewed by 100 times more people than the full thing in context. But at least you have something to point to.
Yeah, true. But well, I guess what I was saying is, like, say that you have a full Clips channel like Vlad. They'll never get the full content. They'll never know. Vlad
He does. He drops the full podcast at the end. After all the clips. But also you can watch the full podcast as a member.
His
But anyway,
page is so confused.
But he's conditioned people to view his
they're
content.
used to it because he's been doing it for 10 plus years. Yeah. So, okay, Vlad's doing 50 million a month on
Real quick,
YouTube when we're talking about
Out of
views.
those 50 million, how many of those are from older content, do you believe?
There's really no way of knowing.
Or does that matter?
I don't think it really matters that much.
Your
But
catalog's your catalog.
yeah, it is what it is at the end of the day. I mean, like, there's all kinds of ways that you could kind of take away from people, because even with us, it's like, we have some music videos on the channel that are still performing well after all these years. So it's like there might be 100,000 or a couple 100,000 view boost on the channel every single month because of the fact that we have old Lil Peep music videos that people are still going to watch for all of time. Whatever. But anyway, then you look at somebody like Ak. I don't even know what his main channel does anymore. I don't think it's that impressive. I think it's only like a couple million views a month or whatever, because he puts like basically all his time into streaming from his second channel at this point. So it's very hard to quantify how many views Academics is doing. But we had a conversation the other day, and he's also like cross-platform. So like he's on Twitch at the same time that he's on YouTube, and he's on Twitter at the same time, and all that stuff. So it's very hard to judge. But he told me that basically like he's north of like 30 million views on YouTube alone. So to me, he's kind of like right below Vlad in terms of like pure views. Then you get to No Jumper. In the last 30 days, No Jumper has done about 27 million views between our Clips channel and our main channel. Then you get down a little bit lower than that. You have somebody, Joe Budden, does around 10 to 11 million views on YouTube per month. Now, I will add some qualifiers. He's big on Patreon, so some percentage of the people are watching his content as well as other content on Patreon. You got to give it to him on that. Also, he's probably more popular on the streaming platforms, i.e. Apple and Spotify and everything like that. He's probably bigger on those platforms than us, even though people don't know this, but we're very, very big on that.
Top 20 on Spotify.
Our views on YouTube would go up by like many, many, many millions of views if we cease to exist on Spotify and all these platforms. And we do make an okay amount of money on there. And we have built up a fan base on that shit. And I always kind of went into this shit with the mind state of you want your content to be in a bunch of different places so that you can have relationships with your fans from all kinds of different platforms. But either way, Vlad 50, Ak 30-ish, No Jumper, a little bit less than that. Then you got Joe Budden doing about 11. Then you got, a lot of people brought up Say Cheese and Math Hoffa. They're averaging around like 4 million views per month, which, granted, they're doing great.
That's impressive that Say Cheese is even still in the combo.
Because Say Cheese, like, in comparison to us, they barely upload. We spend a shitload of time and energy and money making a shitload more content. So it's respectable.
And that's what I was going to say about, but kind of, you do have to say that about Joe as well.
Nigga sour that I'm at No Jumper, bitch ass nigga.
Joe drops significantly less content than No Jumper does.
He drops like 2 full-length podcasts, and then all the Patreon shit ends up coming out at other times, and then he obviously has clips and everything too. Whatever. It's kind of hard to judge, but my perspective and what I said in this video that triggered Joe Budden and caused him to respond on Twitter was I basically said, there's a big 3. The big 3 is Vlad, Ak, and me.
I just was about to say that, but
that's the big 3.
You off.
And so Joe Budden, listen, like I'm gonna qualify my own statement and make it clear that I'm telling the truth.
But you're number 3.
I'm not trying. I'll even take that. I don't mind at all. And I also would like to.
No, because I agree with you too much on the pod.
I would like to qualify that we got to where we're at. Look at everybody's content. Vlad does huge interviews. You can't take that away from him. Axe covering the biggest artists in hip hop. He's like doing like really, really cohesive, comprehensive content about the biggest artists in hip hop. But No Jumper.
They have no co-hosts.
As many views as we have, we got that shit largely from doing interviews with underground rappers, drill rappers who are not at the height of the hip hop conversation. And in a lot of ways, we don't really go out of our way to do content about the big stuff that's going on. On Saturday, when hip hop was erupting because of the fact that Drake had put out his fucking diss or whatever, what was I doing? I was doing a 3-hour Spanky Loco interview. And never at any point during that interview did I think to myself, fuck, why am I talking to this guy Spanky Loco when I could be talking about Drake and Rick Ross and shit?
But that's what
that
people,
does not occur to me.
Wait,
Like, that's not what I'm about.
Song?
I started doing this shit.
I've been knee deep in fucking.
You don't know that Drake dropped this song about them.
I haven't seen the phone in like 4 or 5 days.
That is insane. But okay, continue.
You're the only person in America.
You're the only person. The only black person currently living in America who does not know about this.
Because I feel me, you know, you can't have your phone on.
Much respect, but all I'm saying is that I do feel like No Jumper does need a little bit of an asterisk next to what we have created because, A, you look at all these people, nobody has put on more people than me in this conversation. Well, you got to give it to Vlad, too. Vlad has definitely helped some people come along and create careers and everything like that. Who has been successful out of the Joe Budden universe? Rory and Mal. That's it. Everybody else, I don't know. But as far, and even Ak excels at making content with him talking on camera. He has struggled to get the Academy thing off the ground up till this point. So I say all that to say that when I described the big 3, I was talking about media, platforms, and views because Joe Budden took a shot at our views. Now I will give you where I think Joe Budden falls into the top 3, the big 3, which is that he has some of the best takes in rap. That is one thing that you can't take away from him. Him and Ak are basically the 2 kings of this, far greater than me or Vlad, that every single week they seem to have the most interesting perspectives on the current events that are going on in hip hop. The most essential commentary that you're going to see is going to be from Joe Budden and Academics. Now, many times over the years, I have thought to myself, I should put more time into like, you know, putting together the best version of me doing that. But at the end of the day, No Jumper was really based on me doing a shitload of interviews. And even though I sit here and do this podcast and the Whack podcast every single week, I don't feel like I have ever like wholeheartedly dedicated to myself to being the hot take guy. As far as being the hot take guy, Joe and Ak definitely number 1 and 2. But when we're talking views, when we're talking about building a hip hop media platform, we're in the top 3. It's Vlad, Ak, and Adam. And I reached out to Drake because, and Lush can vouch for the authenticity of these messages because I showed him.
Bro.
I showed him the most trustworthy person in the room, Lush.
Yeah.
I figured you could keep a lid on it for an hour before we go.
Yeah, tell him the day of.
And Lush can read this. I'll slide it over to Bricc Baby and we can all confirm. I DM Drake at 2:52. I hadn't spoken to him throughout all of this.
AM or PM?
PM. Okay. I hadn't spoken to him about any of this craziness. I'm hearing, you know, Rory and Mal obviously like heard the diss song before it came out. I'm hearing Ak, you know, he gets the diss song leaked to him and stuff like that. I got the open DM with Drake, but I hadn't bothered to like, you know, tap in and like try to get any like secret information out of him or anything. But once we start having this big 3 conversation, I send the message to Drake and I say, who's the big 3? This is an exact quote. Who's the big 3 of hip hop media platforms? I say Vlad, Ak, and me. Ak agrees. Zesty Budden is dying to be included. Drake responds with exactly 8 crying, laughing emojis. And then he says this, and this is something that I really, truly, I hate to be the person delivering this because this could possibly be hurtful to somebody that I consider myself very close to.
Yeah.
This is not how I wanted this to go. When I send this message to Drake, I was hoping that his response would undermine Sleepy Joe Budden. After the 8 crying laughing emojis, he says, nah, you got to give it to him over Vlad.
He's Nam.
So, for the record, Drake, the certified #1 hip hop artist of right now, the past 15 years.
You can remove the word hip hop from that sentence. Just overall music
Fair.
artist. Yeah.
Chat, y'all see we still AC this.
Check it out. The #1 artist of our time, arguably the greatest hip hop career
Yeah.
ever. And we could argue it till the cows
Jay-Z,
come home.
but yeah.
Gotta love Jay-Z.
Yeah.
Realistically, he wasn't as hot as he was not hot as long as Drake has been hot.
I don't think nobody's did that.
Probably
The
not.
#1 hip hop artist of all time, from my perspective, in terms of crafting an incredible career, his top 3 is Ack, Joe Budden, and No Jumper. He didn't actually clarify that, but he basically said that by saying you can't put Vlad in there.
So we top 3 and not 3.
They all watch.
I got to be honest, bro. Like, I think, why does it have to be a big 3? Things become cliched buzzwords because we just had the whole big 3
It's
come.
picking
No, but I
sides right
chose
now.
this. I said
world.
there's a big 3, and it's not including you, Joe Budden.
Right.
I'm the one who said that, and I have gotten confirmation. Now, let me also
Can it be
attest.
Mount Rushmore with all 4?
Over your
I'm going to stick to 3 because obviously I feel like Joe might be in the mix if we get to 4. But all I'm saying is that Academics agreed with me. Academics is the #1 hip hop commentator. Champagne Papi agreed with me. Drake is the #1 rapper, as I stated. So I'm not gonna lie. I texted my girl after I got the DM, and I said to her, "I'm like, can you believe that? Because like you knew me when I wasn't shit. You knew me when I was a regular ass dude. That's pretty crazy." And I'm not gonna lie. That just seeing him say that, it definitely stood out to me as like, damn, like I came a long fucking way. You know, I'm kid from New Hampshire.
No, also, wasn't there some other lists? I recall, like back when I was on the pod, there was some list that came out, and it was like the top 10 hip hop podcasts or whatever.
No, you're talking about the complex list, right?
Yeah, and we were like low.
That was top 20.
Yeah, and we were like low. We were like, it wasn't No Jumper in the top.
I don't even think it was No Jumper because it was individuals. I think it was Adam.
that's right. Yeah,
Adam was number 15,
yeah,
if
that's
I remember
what I'm saying.
correctly.
Yeah. So that's kind of in a 1 year period, which was supposed to be the downfall of the platform.
Yeah, and I wonder if, because I feel like I was personally like rated criminally low. I probably tried to avoid having that conversation at the time, but there's definitely a bunch of people that were rated high above me that nobody could ever possibly argue is actually like above me and what I've created. And I'm not going to name them, but go take a look at that list.
Are there certain accolades that you get like from certain people that still kind of like give you like clammy palms or like teary eye, like fuck?
Yeah, so that one, Drake.
That's what I was gonna ask you, like, cause like
I don't think because I don't revel in accomplishments or anything. Like if we have a good month on YouTube, it's just a good month. Who gives a fuck?
Yeah.
I don't talk about anniversaries. I don't talk about nothing like, oh, it's the 10th year since I did this. I'm not living in the past.
Yeah.
I've been doing cool shit for a long time, and I never like go back and say like, look at how amazing this thing that I did was or whatever. That's just not really for me. But when Drake said that, it did hurt a little bit that he threw Sleepy Joe Budden in there, but it definitely...
And it replaced your #1.
And I took my boy Vlad out there. I mean, okay, the argument against Vlad is that Vlad is such a documentarian that his content has gone so wide that it doesn't feel like a hip hop platform, because sometimes you will go to Vlad and the new clips for the day are the Black Keys and Alan Dershowitz and fucking a couple of mafia guys and shit like that. Now I still consider his shit very much a hip hop platform because of the fact that he, you know, it's so rooted in hip hop. They have conversations about everything that's going on in hip hop. They have conversations with a lot of the most important people. Vlad has done a lot of the most important journalism of all time in hip hop.
Going back to the beef documentaries, the Mac Dre, all that shit. Yeah.
Oh yeah, you can go all the way back to that. But
see,
even
that's where people fall out with Vlad, because it's like, damn, nigga, you was like gutter like us. at one point. Then
But
it's
he's
like-
grown his platform to the fact that
I respect it.
Of those 5.8 million subscribers, there's definitely a couple million that are really not trying to hear about Tupac. They're following that shit to hear mafia dudes and whatever the fuck else. You know?
He has the greatest collection of Tupac information.
Yes.
Of any, that is the number one resource for all sides of the Pac saga. Period.
And he was doing that before anybody
Period.
knew. I
waited
wish
till
I
all
knew
the
back then.
gangsters. He waited till all the gangsters turned grandpa to crack the case.
Yeah, he did.
And we will get there one day.
Niggas be getting wiped out by behind those beefs and stuff back in the day, like real life. Like
I can't wait to
hate
do-
put it on Diddy, but Diddy, you a cold nigga.
I
too.
want to do
You
an
was killing
interview
shit.
with like Lil Tim when he's 55 years
Wow.
old, and he'll tell us everything.
Wow.
That's going to be a crazy fucking era.
Yeah.
Because the version, like we just did a Quando Rondo interview, it was dope. One of the
Super.
biggest interviews that we'll do this year, probably, even though it was over FaceTime or whatever, or Discord.
Big
I mean,
bruh.
let's big bruh.
on, big
Start the big bruh counter when you dig into it. But all I'm saying is that right there, like he's under investigation. He got a RICO right now. He's not going to tell us that shit. But like a 50-year-old Quando Rondo will sit there and tell us. So then Vaughn walked up and punched me in the face, and he'll give us the play-by-play. That's happening one day.
Yeah,
this
for
is not.
sure.
It's not the time
For
in his
sure.
career.
Yeah.
But Vlad figured that out like way before everybody else, and that's why I have so much respect for him.
Has Drake ever had a confrontation with Vlad or like some air of discontent?
You know, I was thinking that I don't think that they've ever really had like words.
Well, him and Budden had a beef, and they was literally making diss tracks about
No,
each other.
Vlad and Joe Budden hate each other,
No,
and
and
then Drake and Joe Budden hate
that's
each other.
what
And
the-
that's
Drake
why,
and Joe Budden
That's
hate
why
each
I
other.
sent
Like-
that message to Drake, is because I wanted him to say, "Yeah, it's you acting Vlad," and instead he takes Vlad out and puts Joe in, and I'm like, "God damn, bro."
Is it maybe he's like, it can't be three white dudes?
How does it go? An enemy
Oh,
of
no, I
something
guess
is a
active,
friend of
yeah, it's not a white
mine.
dude. Yeah.
How does that saying go?
Enemy of enemy is a friend of mine.
Yeah.
It didn't work for you.
It didn't work.
Op lover.
I think they
backfire.
moved past that though.
I don't know. Either way, just like to hear that really stood out to me. Although, I mean, okay, who are we leaving out of this conversation? You can say Drink Champs.
That's what I was going.
However, Drink
Inconsistent.
Champs, unlike these other platforms we're talking about, has been propped up. Well, I guess you can't say from the beginning, because I think he
Industry
No, he
play.
started with loudspeakers initially, and then went to Revolt and shit. I'm not sure. I definitely feel like, in terms of like average views per interview, you definitely probably got to look at Drink Champs and say
For
they have the
sure.
most. And also, you got to put Gillian Wallow in there too.
Absolutely.
Even though, again, like they started through. Well, I think they started with Barstool. I don't know if they might have started before the Barstool.
They were before Barstool.
It's a zesty
Yeah.
sports player making a staple in hip hop. Well, it's like he's tampering with hip hop now.
Wait, what?
A zesty football player.
Oh, you're talking about Shannon Sharp?
Yeah.
I'm a fan of him. I watch that shit all the time.
but I
He's
watched-
zesty the motherfucker.
That's not a hip hop platform though.
Shit,
Really,
he
like
all I'm saying, he's
He's getting a lot of the biggest rappers now, so it is kind of starting to look like that a little bit. I'm not going to put him in that category
Not
because
yet. He don't deserve it yet, but he trying to get. He's stepping in,
and it doesn't really seem like he has that much like specific hip hop knowledge to the point where
Yeah.
because there's so many things that you can like rate these
But the
content creators
numbers
and
are
these platforms
crazy.
as. You can look at them as
That cat?
as platforms, and when I say platforms, I mean like a place that blows other creators up and that is able to like initiate the careers of people. You could go from platform to say business. Because we don't necessarily know how much the Joe Budden podcast makes. It would appear through the Patreon and everything that they do extremely well. We don't really know. So, you can judge people on business, on platform, on hot takes, on like who's most likely to go viral off of just their thoughts. And then even beyond that, you can go to interviewer. Now, who's the greatest interviewer?
that's subjective.
It's subjective, but also, I mean, I think that you could kind of arrive at an answer along the way in terms of like who's the most prolific, does the most.
And I'm not texting, I'm looking.
And,
so
and
that's
who's
for sure.
actually like just the best at interviewing and stuff. I think that, and who's gotten the best interviews and stuff like that, because like, I'm tempted to throw Nori in that top 3 or the top 5.
You got the Kanye interview. You
gets-
feel me?
yeah,
Like,
okay,
Get
but
too
getting-
drunk by the end of that motherfucker.
Getting the
Yeah,
biggest
facts.
interviews is a little different than doing the best interview once you get into that situation.
It's absolutely too much liquor involved.
So there are so many different ways that you can really like judge platforms, and I think that like myself as an interviewer and a person who I really see myself as like someone who probably cares about being a good interviewer more than I care about anything else in this conversation. I think that it doesn't get discussed as much, and I feel like some percentage of the fan base probably doesn't think about it. So they care about who's entertaining and who's, you know, fun to watch. I don't think that they're necessarily always thinking about like, okay, who's the best interviewer.
Yeah.
But to me,
Crazy.
when I'm interviewing somebody, like, to me, that's what I consider to be like my real focus and fixation.
Yeah, I was just showing them the numbers of Shannon Sharp while you was talking. Yeah, I was about to say the numbers. I didn't want to cut you off. We ain't sharing secret information, but I was just showing them. I don't know if you was up on all the numbers. It's like all the motherfuckers go crazy.
And when you want to talk about, like, a lot of the gifts of an interviewer are making the ability to make their subject feel comfortable enough to share certain information and creating an atmosphere. There's a lot of like nuances to the art of being an interviewer that people overlook. Now, Shannon Sharp, that Cat Williams interview.
And then Monique came right behind it.
You feel me? Like
now they're feeling comfortable to come unpack shit that they don't unpack with other. Once they seen Cat Williams do a tell-all with him.
Right.
Now that's like a safe place for people to come, like, the emotions just
he didn't have to really say shit either.
It's like, what's the thing?
And that would be my argument against Shannon Sharp in that instance, is that he was basically given a wheelbarrow full of gold in that interview. And I'm not gonna lie, I would have also been kind of stumped at times in terms of what to say in response, especially when someone's saying stuff like Cat Williams was saying. There's basically like these grand bombastic statements, many of which turned out to not really be true. As an interviewer, especially when people are saying things to you that you don't know if you believe them or not, you can end up wasting a lot of mental energy, like considering if this is real or not, and not necessarily do as well of a job, as good of a job as of asking the questions, you know?
Yeah, and I mean, same thing with Drink Champs with Kanye. Like, Nori maybe got 3 words in edgewise that entire conversation. Like,
and Kanye is someone where if I were to interview Kanye, you kind of have to almost accept that I'm going to be a fly on the wall.
Yeah.
Or I'm going to try to have some degree of control over this interview, and I'm probably going to piss him off and end up arguing with him, and the motherfucker might walk out. Like, if I do an interview with Kanye where I really try to like constrain him and get him to answer the questions I'm asking and keep him in a box, that's going to be fucking difficult. He's not going. He's not doing that shit. And same thing with that Cat Williams interview. You would have had a hell of a time trying to structure that interview with him.
No. You gotta once, and you gotta be aware of what the goal is. And that's something like I kind of learned from doing interviews with you. It's like once you hear a certain thing, instead of, because when I first started, it was like I would have all my questions and the structure already in my head. But if somebody's giving you gold, you got to kind of lean into that and put those other questions on tuck, and then you feel me?
Yeah, that's what I had to learn. That when the gold's coming out, shut the fuck up.
Right.
Let them keep pouring out.
That's why, like I'm saying, Bricc Baby will listen to my advice and actually learn from it, as opposed to some people who are too big-headed to like fucking take advice. But like, I've done like 1,500 interviews or some shit. Like I have and that's not even counting the porn shit and the BMX shit. Like I'm easily over 1,500 if you include that. But like my attitude is when I'm sitting in front of somebody and they start spilling their guts and they start saying interesting shit that like I feel like really has value, I got to just sit back. I don't want to say anything. I want to let you go for 20 minutes and then dip in and respond. So I respect Shannon Sharp for doing a lot of that. He really did get out of the way. But then when he did follow up, a lot of times his questions would be completely out of left field and have nothing to do with the fucking Megatron bombs that Cat Williams was just dropping.
Oh,
you know?
shit, Megatron.
Megatron rejuvenates.
Isn't that crazy? Jumbotron was full of Lil Yachty. But
Yeah.
Yeah, but go ahead.
Lil Yachty is a fucking great songwriter. People really...
go ahead, finish what you're doing, because I think that's all for what Adam was saving up for the Big 3 convo.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, I wanted to get through all of that before we say anything about the Civil War and rap. Yeah. We're almost 2 hours in. It was pretty good.
What I will say is this. Can we crack that off, that conversation?
I would be happy to, yeah. But just for the record, Big 3. This platform, Big 3, 6 God certified. What gang am I throwing up right now? I take it back. I don't want anything to do with it.
Trey.
I'm not going to turn it sideways. Okay.
Shout out, babies.
I was just throwing up 3. Top 3. Big 3. I need to get a fucking sign. I'm going to put Big 3 on the wall.
2 in the pink, 1 in the sink. All 3 of them.
2 + 1 = 3. I like that.
Why, you can't put your finger in a girl's ass? Why is that going to be pause?
I thought you was, he doesn't have a pink.
All my shit is pink.
I'm talking about, I just was.
Her coochie
Never
pink,
mind,
her booty
bro.
hole brown.
Yeah. He doesn't have a because I'm thinking you talk about two and his pink is stink.
No, sir.
All right.
So anyway, where should we dig in on the craziness of this song that apparently Bricc hasn't heard?
Well, I'll say this.
crazy.
So Rick Ross responded in less than 3 hours.
Right.
To me.
With a song?
With a diss track.
And that shit was already there.
Of course, he might have made a few little alterations.
No, academics said that it was written after the song came out, which if you listen to like a classic Rick Ross song, I mean, they're not terribly intricate. I could imagine
he's got some wordplay. He's got some bar work. From a technical perspective, Rouse is kind of been nice, to be honest with you.
5 years into his career, he started having.
Well, yeah, you feel me? Like
when he first came out, he was.
Am I a narcissist just because I wake up to a bowl of lobster bisque? You feel me? Like he be saying some fire
But
shit.
keep in mind, Rick Ross came into the game during like the cocaine era of Jeezy and everybody just basically like talking about the cool thing at the time, might be hard to believe, was to talk about
rap.
your cocaine selling, your drug selling in the simplest possible terms.
Sure.
Like a normal chorus was, I sell cocaine, like
every
et cetera,
day I'm hustling.
yeah,
Every
exactly.
day I'm hustling.
That was just how rap was for a while. And people forget, but it was a time in which like lyrical rappers were very much aggrieved about the state of affairs, which is usually almost always going to be the case.
Well, but then you had Pusha T doing it. There was lyrical coke rap. Even like Ghostface was big on like the coke rap. Remember that? Like kilo is 1,000 grams. There is lyrical coke rap at that time too.
And Rick Ross came out during all that.
And he did. And I'll say this: he is literally one of the best diss track makers in the game right now. Like that, when idols become rivals, joined to Birdman, is one of the most scathing diss tracks in hip hop history. Like literally. So Ross really got it, and him entering the chat right here is a huge dub. Like,
But Rick Ross, I believed Rick Ross all the way up until he went on tour with Lil Wayne. What tour was that with the Cool Kids? Nicki Minaj?
That's early.
I left from there to go get the bullet pulled out my neck. The bullet was still lodged in my neck. Something about that fucking concert made it pop all the way out. I don't know what it was. But when I went,
it was the
right
badge.
Here.
The badge was magnetic.
This is why we need you on this podcast.
Yeah,
Those
by the
random
time I got
bullet
out-
removal stories.
Yeah, but no, because I believed him. Well, I'm going into what it is, right?
Yeah.
I believed him until I seen him perform. And I'm like, this dude is a great actor.
Yeah. But it sounds
He's
cool
a
though,
great
right?
actor. Yeah, it sounds cool. Like, no, I gave
What
it
about
to
his
him.
performance made you feel that way?
Nigga, he didn't sell no dope with all that old theatrical ass shit.
It was too performative.
It was too performance. Like, nigga, you not no dope boy. We don't know how to do that
But
shit.
soft.
Nigga.
What cracked through yonder window sells.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll speak out on behalf of the boss, who I met approximately 2 weeks ago for the first time, and I don't want to disrespect him or Big
Oh, no,
Duck
I'm not. I'm
in
a
any
fan,
way.
though.
But okay, I feel like maybe Rick Ross is the guy who sold drugs, but also just happened to be a little too smart for what he was doing, had a little bit too much of a gift for words, was a little bit too business savvy.
Well, let's say
so he was able to take his cocaine tales and turn it into a lucrative music career, as opposed to like a shitty Art of Dialogue interview down the road 20 years, you know?
So his fat ass was pulling up to the docks.
I'm not saying I
To
know.
meet Poppy.
I'm just saying that I don't think him like being so eloquent is necessarily a sign that he didn't do it, right?
You don't have to be a gangster to sell drugs, but
King Von was a killer. Look how good with words and rapping he was.
But you could tell.
But I
You
said
could tell.
King Von bucks the stereotype of every killer is the motherfucker in the shiesty who's totally quiet in the corner and ain't gonna do shit, but he'll catch a body, right?
Yeah.
He bucks the stereotype. That's why he was so
Yeah.
fucking huge.
I mean, because that's what the mainstream thinks. Like, it's a lot of cocky killers in the hood.
Especially Chicago.
There's a lot
People
of
also
loudmouth
forget-
niggas that go knock something down and dare you to play with them and brag about their last work every time you say something. Like, it's some loudmouth, fat mouth niggas in the hood. That's how they end up in jail. The person that tells them 9 times out of 10 wasn't in a car with you. He got caught with a gun and some dope up his ass and was like, man, I heard this conversation.
Add a crease to your cranium.
Chicago notoriously is one of the worst places for keeping that shit quiet because you'll forever hear about like people come in here. They don't know that we know everything off camera. People tell us who killed who and shit.
Yeah, for sure.
There's Reddit forums dedicated to it and all that.
Every
like,
time we get drunk together, you tell me something you're not supposed to tell me.
Shit.
like,
Jesus
but do y'all
Christ,
remember?
Not like that.
No, it does get our brotherhood gets to.
Hey,
He forgets
some
I'm not
brother-
really.
Yeah.
Nah, but I shit. Them niggas will tell before you will.
Hey, but do y'all remember Rick Ross prior to that incarnation of him being the dope dealer when he was signed to Suave House Records years before that?
No.
Remember Tony Draper's label Suave House, which was like, I think that's where like 8 Ball and MJG came out.
This is why we need Lush on the podcast because he was paying attention to Rick Ross before hustling.
And he rapped completely differently. Like he had a more like
I seen the shit.
Yeah.
It.
Yeah, he had a more
That
like
was like, it wasn't even the dope boy.
it was like
rap
Trick
thing.
Daddy type shit. Like,
He was
damn
on
near
that
player like shit.
I forget what the Miami bop music is called. But he
Okay,
was on
right.
that.
as long as we're doing the Rick Ross clip, which is what this would appear to be, 1090 Jake is threatening to basically make a video about Rick Ross, and I'm not sure if it's entirely just because he's offended by Rick Ross calling Drake a white boy, but he claims that he has evidence that Rick Ross was a correctional officer for upwards of 2 years, where Rick Ross claims it was 4 months. There's a clip from a Noke Boys interview where he says it was 4 months.
I really don't think that. I mean, that's cool.
Time
and
flies
shouts
when
to-
you're having fun.
I
shouts-
feel like
shouts
we've
to
all
Jake.
kind of like
we
realized we don't
know.
really give a shit about that with Rick Ross
We know
anymore,
it.
right?
Like,
Yeah.
like I made the joke earlier. Like what pulled the bullet out of your neck was the fucking badge on Rick Ross's correctional. You feel me?
that's
Like,
what I'm saying.
We know what time it is.
But that's what made me say he's playing. Like, you was probably like somebody's dope mule inside the pen or something. Like, that might be.
he should have rapped
There's a lot
about
of
that.
that.
He should.
Yeah.
he
Somebody getting
shoulda-
all that shit in
Yeah,
there.
He
somebody
should-
could have got you there. You could have said, I was a CO, but I was playing street shit the whole time. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's where I made all my money at.
Do you think that Rick Ross could like talk about hooping drugs and like make it sound cool on a song?
I don't think they have to put him in their body to get him in, bro.
That fool can hide it under his tits. What do you mean,
Put it
bro?
in the no.
Love you, Ross.
I can't
Legend.
tell her. I mean, but what if you had a burrito when you came to work?
Yeah.
Fent burrito, a couple balloons in there. Shit, I might get hungry to eat it. I don't know.
Fennerito sounds delicious.
I hate you.
Fetterito.
But I'm just saying, a burrito. I'm just using that. Just say you come with a packaged lunch to work.
Yeah.
They're not going through that.
That's
No,
smart.
what? Yeah, I
I'm
mean-
sure he's heard of all that and other things.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You know?
When he said, I know Noriega, the real Noriega, and he owes me favors, maybe he was referring.
He used to bring dope on the tier. Come down his tier like, look, man, I just slid Nori some shit. You know what I'm saying? He owed me 100 favors.
He owes me 3 cartons of Cools. Like,
But I mean, I'm looking forward to that 1090 video if that actually does happen.
Yeah, it'll
Just
be
because
interesting.
you've never seen 1090 take on a target that big, right?
Yeah.
He'll talk about Finesse 2 times. He'll talk about Greedo. He ain't talking about
1090 here.
the greatest of all time, like
And he-
top
now
rappers
you
of our
talking
time, right?
Florida, though.
Yeah.
You know you don't play by Florida.
Yeah.
You don't
That's
play about
fact.
Florida. 'cause
I don't
it's
understand the Florida
No,
politics, but
1090 don't play about Florida. That's his.
He's
staple,
Florida
like,
by way of Boston. Yeah.
right.
So as far as like Rick Ross, he knows that he could get in his business just a little bit more due to the Florida connects. Like he probably could take on Rick Ross first as a big guy because, hey, you from Miami, I can prove that you not a gangster, never was a gangster, not one bit. And you calling Drake a white boy, acting like he's soft when y'all just as soft as each other.
But it's,
Like,
fun,
you know
it's
what I'm
funny
saying?
though.
You got Aubrey and you got the CO.
You brought up you brought up earlier, like at a certain point, when we were talking about Vlad, you were like, Vlad used to be in the trenches with us. Da, 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 da.
Yeah.
Do you remember what transpired between him and Rick Ross and that whole situation? Like,
Well, let me tell you this: when you do content with Vlad, there's one thing you don't want to talk about.
is that okay? Yeah. But I mean, that was just
Yeah?
like, and that's not a diss to Vlad, but obviously,
Do your
like,
Googles if you want to.
Yeah. That whole switch, like he moved very differently after that.
I
That
do
is
my
true.
homework.
Because Vlad tells me stories sometimes about being at parties and shit back in the day, and I'm like, I don't see you at a ton of parties now. I feel like that was kind of like a moment where he decided I'm gonna move a lot different. I can't be taking risks.
Vlad came to my battle event. Vlad watched fucking Cassidy battle Disaster. You feel me? me? Like we're smoking weed and everything. Vlad, look, I got a lot of love for Vlad because he did an interview with me. I did a couple interviews with him, right? Like, or on his platform. And he did an interview with me talking about a situation I had at the time, like a beef with somebody. And I was like zannied out my fucking gourd, you feel me? Like, and I'm just running my mouth saying so much crazy shit that was like for show incriminating as fuck. And Vlad was like, hey, he actually would have got some decent traction and views off of it because it was heavily discussed at the time. But he's like, I'm not putting this shit out. Like, I'm not gonna do you like that. Like, this is a bad look.
You're like, fuck it, put it out.
Yeah, exactly. I was disappointed. I was disappointed, but he for sure did the right thing. And like, that showed me that Vlad really do have a moral compass regardless of what people have to say. So I've always fucked with Vlad from that.
Vlad is probably one of the most smeared unfairly people.
He's a good dude.
The vast majority of people that don't like Vlad, I'm gonna be honest with you, it doesn't have anything to do with anything besides the fact that they just don't vibe with him. Because it's like, to be cool with Vlad is to understand that he's a very like orderly, sort of neurotic dude. Like, he's very organized. Even like when you do an interview with him, it's very, very structured. Even when you're having a conversation with him, he's a pretty straight-laced guy. It's not like kicking it with Nori where he's cracking the craziest fucking jokes you ever heard the whole time or whatever. And I feel like that plus the white thing is way more of why people give Vlad hate. Because think about like the thing that they hated Vlad for originally, which was basically like doing interviews that pried into the person's, being criminal past and then titling it accurately. That is no longer a valid criticism because everybody in hip hop does that, but still a lot of people have this fucking grudge against Vlad. And I feel like it's largely personality based. I would kind of say a lot of the same for me. A lot of people, like, if they don't like No Jumper, a lot of it is that they just don't fuck with the white boy who's making gay jokes and doesn't worship God and et cetera, and
don't believe y'all should be in our business.
Exactly.
That's the thing, though. Like, Vlad
they want white people to buy their album, but you can't critique it.
Well, that's the thing.
That's crazy.
Vlad grew up in Berkeley, California, which is right next to Oakland and is like an active city itself. You feel me? Yeah.
Shout out Berkeley.
I used to live in Emeryville.
Shouts to B-Town, you feel me? Shouts to all that shit. Shouts to Emeryville. That's like North Oakland, basically. You feel me? And that fool was in a Cypress Hill video in like 1992, 93. Like, he's in the crowd at a Cypress Hill concert in the video. You feel me? One of their big songs, I think it's like Insane in the Membrane or something like that.
He's in the Insane.
It's one of those records. It's an
that's
early.
The only one video where they got a crowd.
Yeah, he might be in that video because remember that's their second album.
I've never heard Vlad talk about that, and I feel like he would have.
He has talked about it.
Oh, he has?
He has talked about it.
Really?
Yeah. He's talked about it. Yeah. So like he has qualifications and dude, he was Vlad.
That's why it's funny when people like question Vlad's like validity in hip hop. And it's like, does duration not matter to you? Because he's got like 30 years of killing it under his belt before most hip hop fans who are critiquing them were fucking. Most people who are criticizing him have been into rap for a couple of years.
Who else was mentioned in Drake's diss song? Because now I'm like a virgin to this whole conversation, so you kind of got to dissect the whole song.
So he's low key everybody killer right now. Like
I
Drake,
figured that.
And if you listen to the record, like there's two versions. The first one had the Get Money sample in it. You feel me? And then he went over the What's Beef. Now I personally like would stay. It was a reinterpolation of What's Beef. I would have stayed away from something Diddy related as far as timing goes.
Right.
But regardless of that, there's a DJ Who Kid drop on it. Who Kid, which I took as him alluding to the fact that he's like 50. He feel like 50 in 02, getting at everybody. You feel me? Like,
Shit! Wait! I have an update. This is literally posted on No Jumper 1 hour ago. Rick Ross calls 1090 Jake a rat and tells Drake to confess he had a nose reduction and a BBL. You BBL N-word. And then, okay, I'm looking at...
not a white boy.
I'm looking at... all right. Wow. Dude. Hey,
retraction.
Rick Ross had time today. He put on his story, he posted 1090 Jake's paperwork and wrote, at 1090 Jake, a rat, at Champagne Poppy. Then he posted more paperwork, wrote, at 1090 Jake, rat emojis, at Champagne Poppy, hashtag white boy, who's next, hashtag BBL Drizzy. And then...
So he's going to be able to go live tomorrow? Because every time I put a rat emoji, I'm banned for fucking 90 days.
Really?
Wait, seriously?
What? I can't say nothing on my Instagram. I think I'm just like a terrorist, labeled as a terrorist.
Why a rat emoji?
Because anything gang, like, antagonistic in that way...
Don't put the word Crip.
Oh, hell
sure,
no. Yeah.
I own the trademark.
Yeah.
Wait, hold on. Let's listen to Rick Ross talk about 1090.
Yeah.
White boy, BBL Drizzy, I got a question. I saw you posted you got more money than Ricky Rose. And let's assume you did. Well, your best friend, Birdman, his house went into foreclosure 5 years ago. You done watch that man struggle them 5 years and ain't get that man a mansion? Because if you got more money than Rose, what's another 50 million, white boy? White boy, it's one for 40 on Indian Creek. It's one for 50 on Star Island. You got 48 hours, white boy. If you got Ricky Rose money, ain't none of my niggas winning foreclosure. Come on, white boy. I'm finna bust a bottle. White boy, don't do stunner like that. Come on, man.
Okay, I'm gonna be real. That's the first time I've ever heard anybody suggest that Drake hasn't made Birdman enough money.
Well, beyond that, that is so hypocritical because he literally has a whole diss track against Birdman for not taking care of Wayne.
Right.
So now you're supposed to take care
And
of
Robin Khaled.
Yeah, and now you're supposed to take care of Birdman.
Is Birdman broke? That's the first time I've really heard this.
That's crazy. Foreclosure. I mean, Jesus.
I don't know.
I don't know. It sounds
I don't
weird.
know.
I gotta do the
Lawsuits.
science, but
It might have been a property
But
he
everybody
forgot
been
about.
coming to get their money from him too recently.
Yeah.
though. He been getting hit with some heavy joints. Wayne, didn't
Yeah.
Manny get him?
Yeah. Let
me
A
play
couple people
one
got
more.
their bread back.
You know,
This
this
one.
shit is really funny because I'm going to tell y'all, it's like battling against nerds. It's like sitting in a class and you watching all the nerds put together their best science project to the class. Man, y'all can have that shit. I ain't with that shit. Nigga, your nose fake, your stomach fake. You don't write raps. Your biggest homies in foreclosure. Come on, man. Go buy all them niggas that's living with each other a big mansion and put the BBL Drizzy logo on the gates. Man, feed them niggas, man. Come on, man. Do that shit, man. And y'all need to pray for Drake and tell him, park that old ass plane. It's a 1978. The cargo jet people gave it to him free for promo. And I ain't hating, but be safe, my nigga. If something was to happen to you and I couldn't tell you this, be safe. And anybody getting on it, be safe, man. Wear your seatbelts and make sure the oxygen things in there, because that shit was just for luggage. It wasn't for human beings.
okay. So we're critiquing people's private
jets.
private airlines.
Yo, it's getting very like
1978. Like I remember
That's
reading
a
an
lot.
article about Drake's plane, and I'm pretty sure it's like state of the art.
Yeah, that fool
carrying
got a
shit,
stealth
right?
bomber, fool, from
Yeah.
like.
man, a 78 jet. Man, Drake ain't putting his life in danger like that.
Nah.
Man, he's making too much money. I don't know. I don't think he could talk money with Drake, Ricky.
He is funny.
That's funny.
He's
It's funny, but that's an L in itself.
No, that was funny as fuck, but I don't really know if okay, I feel like he's kind of taking a page from Cat Williams' book, which is like, I can create reality, because I've read that I've read expert plastic surgeons making TikToks saying Drake has not had anything done to his nose. You can look at the old photos. You can look at the current photos. My girl knows a shitload about rhinoplasty. So before I even saw my girl got one like when she was like 15.
Yeah.
She's looking at it like he did not have a nose job. His nose,
Yeah.
like, it might look a little different in the fucking photo from 30 years ago and then versus today.
You can gain weight, you can lose weight, you get
but
older.
Angles.
And okay, BBL, the man had lipo and possibly like ab shaping. He didn't have a BBL, which would have necessitated the fat being put in his ass. I feel like I've said this so many times because this is the same fucking argument we had about
when
Bandit
are you getting yours?
I'm never gonna do that. I don't want my butt to be rounder or bigger.
I'm not talking about BBL. I'm talking about your life.
I don't think it's for me. I'd rather lose weight.
So stop complaining about looking fat.
No, but that's the cheater's way.
I'm body.
No, I'm gonna go Ozempic before I go BBL.
Yeah,
That's
good.
the problem, is that Drake got the fucking lipo before they came out with Ozempic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, it's hard to be like buff when you're on Ozempic, so I don't know. But either way, I feel like Rick Ross is like bringing a bunch of stuff to the table here that is like very questionable authenticity.
Well, I mean, the guy who has a whole fabricated life, who's been cosplaying as a dope kingpin for the past 20 years, has a fucking fabricated take.
I feel.
I love you though, Rose.
I feel like Drake won the battle, and I haven't even heard the song because everybody was waiting for Drake's response. Nothing else mattered in this world until Drake said something.
And you know what? I'll be honest. Drake snapped. Prior to that, that was like, yeah, Drake for sure is winning right now out of anybody.
Out of everybody.
Out of everybody.
Because now you got to get a full song from Kendrick.
Because you got to think about this. they put out the whole album, the Future and Metro album, and it's got like a ton of like sort of secretive Drake references, but then you have the Kendrick verse, which is obviously just the icing on the cake. This is like the most direct shot, realistically, on the project at Drake, and people are way more excited to hear Drake and Kendrick go at it than like Drake and Future or Drake and Metro Boomin, right?
Sure.
So Kendrick, but when you really look at what Kendrick said, he basically just said that he was better at rapping than everybody else. Now, when you look at the Drake song, it takes aim at a bunch of different people. It kind of ignores a bunch of people too. It doesn't take aim at A$AP Rocky. Has a verse on the new Metro and Future. It doesn't take aim really at Future so much. Like, well, actually, there are some bars for Future.
He did say, he also said, my favorite bar is Metro, shut the fuck up and go make some drums.
Yes, that was fucking hilarious. He just by being that like dismissive of it.
Yeah, like,
and I think that's something that Drake, I think by taking a couple weeks to make this song, he really nailed the tone that we want from a diss song.
For sure.
He was funny without seeming mad. He seemed very much like he didn't give a fuck, which is like the opposite of the narrative of Drake on stage at the club, like nervously looking through his phone right after the Kendrick shit came out, which that was like the narrative at first. I think by taking a couple weeks, he was able to really put something together that doesn't feel rushed. But if you really look at it, like what was the most direct shot? He takes aim at Kendrick's personal life by saying the shit about Whitney and the bodyguard. He's talking about Kendrick's, I guess it's still his fiance, which I was kind of surprised to learn, because how have you been with her since high school and she's still your fiance? This is it's giving Pam and Roy. To be totally honest,
it's kind of a weird thing to critique, though.
Fans out there. No, but I mean, him throwing her in there at all, and it's rumor that he's kind of suggesting that she slept with a bodyguard, which is sort of hard to imagine. I don't know if there's much to back that up, but that to me is like the most direct shot, and especially if you go back, Drake in his Rap Radar interview said and made it clear that he felt like, yes, Pusha T may have been perceived as getting the W over him, but Pusha T did some shit that he didn't respect, namely that he did the kid reveal, talked about, you know, his close friend possibly dying from a serious illness.
To me, that was the most fucked up part.
Right, and I mean, those things like might help you win the battle, but also like, I don't look at that shit as really like admirable or cool. Like, I guess in the moment it felt that way. It felt like, wow, Pusha doesn't give a fuck about anything. He'll say anything.
From a hip hop perspective, it's a dope diss track.
But Drake basically said that he doesn't respect people dragging the family members and everything into it. And then in that one bar, he kind of like sets the stage where if Kendrick wants to take full aim at Drake's personal life and all of his everything he's ever been through in his life, it's not going to seem totally unwarranted because Drake sort of like took that one little dig into his personal life. But even this Drake record, it's not like he's dragging out skeletons, and it's not like he's really trying to like crucify anybody's career. It's Kendrick took a jab, and then this Drake record is still kind of a jab. It's more of a powerful jab.
He basically tells him like, Kendrick, I gave you your first hit.
Yeah, but this was very much like, I don't give a fuck enough to really give any of y'all a full song, and mostly my tone is going to be kind of dismissive and just calling you guys clowns, which to me, I'm going to be honest, I don't feel like any of this has hurt Drake at all.
This is the same dude that shout out all the boss bitches, wife and niggas. Like, you got to understand what you about to be in the middle of where you going. He's funny. He will shut that shit down. Kendrick got it. If Kendrick performs how we want him to perform, because I think that we're like putting a lot of stress on Kendrick's shoulders because we keep on saying he's more lyrical, he's going to do this, he's going to do that. But then it's like, now I'm writing this shit and I got to keep up to what they saying.
But we can never look at Kendrick as a victim because Kendrick came out like he's the one who made this.
He's the shooter.
No matter what happens, we're not going to be able to be
but
like,
they slid, so what you going to do?
And he's been calling Drake, essentially been like calling him a bitch for years on Wax. You feel me? Like tucking sensitive rapper back in his pajama clothes, like all that shit. Like, he's been doing that for a long ass time. In order for Kendrick to compete, I'm going to just keep it a full stack. He need to get really into that Compton bag. He need to do a dollars and cents DJ Quick type of shit. He need to do a Dre Day.
Cut you at the red light, shake it like a crab.
That's what he needs to do. And us being from the eras that we from in hip hop, like as cool as this shit is, like I'm a fan of Beanie Siegel versus Jadakiss. I'm a fan of, you feel me, Game 300 bars. These are the diss tracks that moved me. You feel
Ether
me?
versus Takeover, like arguably one of the greatest battles of all time, the hit 'em up era, etc. Like these are eras in which it wasn't like I'm better at rapping than you. It was you are a bitch. You are food in these streets. I fucked your baby
First off,
mama.
I fucked your
Everything
bitch,
was
and
like
you claim.
this beef is nowhere near that.
It's not that many
The
gangsters
thing
involved.
about it though is that we still really don't know what Drake did. Like, what did Drake do to earn the ire of this many #1 rappers? Yes, sex could have something to do with it, but it doesn't feel like it could like fully explain it. Like that, we're still kind of being left in the dark about what the real root of this shit is.
Yeah, exactly. There's always so many things that lead up to those moments.
So, if you dissect it to the streets of Atlanta, right? 4L and 5L. I could leave it there, or I could go in depth. Do you know where I'm going? Do the fans?
No, I feel like
okay, because I don't want to. So 21 is 4L.
Okay.
Future and them are connected to 5L.
Okay.
That's like BMG. That's like the Black Migo gang. That's Little Mexico.
So you're saying that when Drake chose to do
Scooter
a project,
and all that
because a lot of people have hypothesized that Future could have been upset about Drake doing a project with 21 Savage because they're both basically like Atlanta artists, and you know Drake in a lot of ways has kind of like used the cool guy Atlanta card for sure, and a lot of people have kind of said that, but then that doesn't seem like a good enough reason because it's like. Why would Future be so petty to care about Drake doing an album with somebody else? But if you're saying that there's street shit that separates 21 and Future, now we're talking.
Because now Baby Drill's involved. You know, Baby Drill
is
they have it. See, because like I don't know if this shit is public record or not. So I'm like trying not to, because I'm thinking it came out, but it could have came out in a talk with me and them. Okay. And I didn't see it on YouTube, so
I haven't seen this hypothesized, but I'm
all right. So
cut the stream.
Yeah, let me filter it then, because you know me, I would drop the. All right, I could just give a hit, and I don't never do this with my homeboys, but 4L and 5L ain't getting along,
right?
And it's deep. And I don't know to what extent. I was at a meeting where we was trying to hinge shit together at the club during the daytime in the parking lot, not while the club was open. And everybody was tension. I was just coming against the weed, and I'm looking, and then I see Drill, then I see the other niggas from the east side. I'm like, oh, let me stay. Like, not like that. Like, it could get ugly, but I'm addicted to bullshit. So it's like.
That's what I was thinking. I'm like, a lot of people would be like, gang members, possible tension, I'm going to leave.
I'm out.
I'm addicted to bullshit. So it's like,
you AWACS out here.
I'm like, I'm a fly on the wall, kind of like, oh no, let me see. Who really got that energy? But at the end of the day, and it's like some big homies that keep them together, because you got to understand they on the same side of town. They on the same side of town, so it's like it wasn't gang banging and click banging in Atlanta when them OGs was hustling over there. It was Zone 6.
Okay.
You get what I'm saying? Now they separating the 6. You know what I'm saying? Now they separating the 6. 21's not picking sides with nobody. Nigga alleged, but then you get a subtweet to 21 from Metro. But Metro's been with 5L the whole time, bro. So I'm not gonna just strictly base it on that. It could be some fucking going on, but I'm like definitely on some street shit. It's like pick a side, gang, because everybody pick a side.
But okay, that makes sense for Future and Metro.
Well, and
then, okay, why don't they bring in The Weeknd?
Bring him in.
Because, okay, Rocky alluded to the idea that there was like phone calls being sent out, like get in on this fucking project, etc. Which is like, it's hard for us to imagine. But
you can tell it was.
I mean,
like,
how the fuck else did they get all these people on this page? You know, I was actually picturing. I'm like, does Future, is a FaceTime enough, or is this so secretive and important that Future's like hopping on the jet to go sit down with The Weeknd or whoever and be like, listen, this is what we're gonna do. We're putting this project together. We're gonna take them down.
It's gonna be sensational.
But Cash and them is always around though. See, y'all don't see the back, like Cash and them be at the, like they not with Weeknd all the time.
Okay.
Like you might pull up and Cash and them just there by themselves.
There was, I mean, wasn't
so
the...
it ain't nothing to get the message to him like, hey, what you on the same page as this? Because I don't see Weeknd politics.
Well, wasn't it Future, Metro, and Drake all fucking with some, like, the same thoughty or whatever? There was like...
I heard that.
But fucking with the same thought, he could be like the thing that happens after you guys decide that you don't like each other. Because think about us. You got like a guy that you don't like, and then you fuck his bitch.
Yeah.
Feels great. You're happy as fuck.
Yeah,
but then you created a war. You created a situation that's gonna be hard to get out of. You know. But you already didn't like each other. That just ratchets it up.
Or let me fly Metro bitch and Future bitch out at the same time on some funny shit.
Or maybe she got tequila flavored nipples, like she's really that bitch, and they were super salty about it. You feel me?
That's a metaphor for her just being a bad bitch.
Like, yeah, you feel me? Like, tequila flavored nipples, bitch.
Crazy.
By the way, YouTube is glitching right now, and it's showing us having like 50 live viewers. So I'm already anticipating a lot of. There's probably already like threads on certain message boards claiming that we actually have 50 live viewers right now. But okay, that's some good food for thought right now. I guess like the main thing that I would like to discuss, because I really got to get out of here in like 10 minutes, and I really wish we could do like a 3-hour episode right now, but I gotta try to see the kid because I only had 24 hours to hang out with her and I actually have the car seat in my car now.
Yeah.
Never had that before.
Wow.
I'm a real dad. But I always usually just like drive her car when I need to use the car seat, you know?
Me too.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You too proud to put it in your car?
But nah, I be putting it in my car. I'd rather drive her in the truck anyway, though.
It's a great place to stash
you
drugs.
put the kid in the trunk?
No, in the truck.
Oh.
You know we got
okay.
But I'd rather, because it's like, I got TVs.
I really thought about that for a second. I was like, the trunk?
We used to drive in trucks as kids all the time.
Right?
Not the car trunks, but remember, it wasn't a third
But not
row.
when you're 1.
No, fuck
Like your kid, yeah.
My baby's
no, but if you were like 10, like I remember, I went in the trunk, but not far.
It wasn't a third row.
Not for like an hour.
But it never was a third row in trucks until what year? Because it was like, if it's 7 kids in the car, it's 3 in the back, you 2
All the
niggas get in the
minivan
truck.
joints, yeah.
Yeah, like even, right? Man.
But okay,
Anyway.
this is the most important thing I think that we talk about before we wrap this up. So it's on Kendrick. How long does Kendrick have to respond, and what should he respond with? Should he go nuclear? Should he let out everything that he presumably has to say about Drake? Should he empty the clip?
What I would love to see from Kendrick is a record that people actually, what made Drake's diss track so potent, why Back to Back was so hard, why Stay Scheming was so hard.
And I think this song has some of that potential.
Right.
Like you could hear that song in the club.
Absolutely. These are records that are getting played everywhere. You know what I mean? Like, he need to remember.
About Charged Up.
There you go. Charged Up was cool, but
It was the pre. That was a warning shot. That was the jab.
Yeah, that was a warning
That's
shot.
what I'm trying to tell you. It was the jab, and it was the overhand. So it's like
that was the bait, really. That was the bait. You feel me? I want, like I said earlier, I want to hear like a fucking banger where he talks slick ass shit and just roast the fuck out of him, and he's like, yeah, you know what time it is. You feel me? Like this real. You feel me? Then he talk his Compton shit. Whoop you wop.
Adam
feel me?
said he wants to tell J. Cole. He wants Kendrick to just say J. Cole, you's a bitch.
Yeah, for real. He should. Kendrick should say J. And you know, J. Cole
That's on record.
That would get the cheers from the crowd, is what I believe I actually
You's a
said.
bitch.
Yeah, you can't be nice about J. Cole bowing out early. If he says, J. Cole, you a bitch on the song, boom.
The cold part is
Knock
J.
him
Cole.
out. 2 bars.
J.
That's
Cole
all.
low key rap better than all these fools, but he put his tampon so far up his fucking pussy.
Still
You feel me?
fast.
Like, yeah, like, bro, you let Nas down, J. Cole.
Yeah.
You let Nas down.
Ooh.
You let hip hop down by taking the high road. And this is why I used to fucking be with Lil Pump when he was saying, fuck J. Cole. You feel me? Like,
People always thought that I hated J. Cole more than I did. I never was involved in any I never said fuck J. Cole. I never did fuck J. Cole rants. I just wasn't a fan. To me, it was a little bit too wholesome.
You was literally around Pump when he was doing that.
I
right?
was
Like,
there the
was
first
on
time that he
tour,
said it
like-
on stage.
Yeah.
And I feel like the audience started it and they just kept rolling
chanted it with him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I was on stage filming it, but I never said it.
Right. And I fuck with Cole, but like like how you gonna do that, fool? Why? He didn't even say anything that crazy. It was just some hip hop shit, fool.
So
like,
Adam, you picked the gray area in that beef
In which one?
with the little pump shit. You like, I never said it. But
You know, even at that time, I mean, people give me a lot of shit for like being too involved with hanging out with these whippersnappers. But like, I even at that time, I knew what the optics would be on me as a
take J.
33-year-old
Cole out the
dude.
big 3 for that.
Being the one of like, what
He's
the
out
damage
big
Pump
3.
did to him?
Yeah, no, for the fucking tail tuck.
Oh my God! Why does Lil Pump not jump into this shit?
he should.
He could be so
He
up
should.
in the like if he drops a J. Well, does he want to drop a J. Cole disc?
Well, they cool now.
I mean,
They cool now.
Right. But there's
it.
got to be something.
Go
Lil
milk.
Pump could be
Go
offering
milk
to this, right?
7-4. Fuck it. go back to beefing with him. He thought we was cool, bitch.
That's what Drake. What I like about Drake's track too is like he's like Big Three. You're not in the Big Three. Fucking Travis Scott's in the Big Three. 21 Savage is above you. Da, 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 da. He said Sis is above you, which is an extra like that's extra cold, especially because that's your label mate. That's like your homegirl. You feel me? Like just him. I don't know. I thought that was
okay, but
well played.
Stepping back into the conversation about is this about sales or is this about talent and skill? I mean, when he says that 21 and Travis are above Kendrick, that 100% is clearly about sales.
Yeah,
we can go back to the skill versus sales when it comes to Kendrick, Drake, and J.
But
Cole.
y'all can't do Travis like that. Travis, shit, he produces. He invented all of these
he's
niggas.
in a different category.
Don't even have to take that away from him, but he's not a lyricist. Same thing with 21. They're not lyricists in the way that we think.
Sure.
Cole, Kendrick, and Drake are kind of on like similar ground in terms of skill. People could pick their favorites, but they're kind of in that arena. Even though he's talking about Travis Scott versus Kendrick in skill, it's almost like different genres.
Yeah,
even though there's fools like out there like Rock Marcy and RJ Payne and fucking Benny the Butcher and all these fools that low key like got better rappers than all those dudes, but you know they're not up there as far as status. So
and even him putting SZA, that's an actual different genre. Like he's clearly talking about sales and numbers when that one. Yeah,
right. But still, you know, it was well played regardless.
If we disqualify J. Cole from the Big Three, who's the on the bench? Who's the sixth man? Well, even though to be the fourth man, but it's like,
are we talking skills or are we talking sales?
Skill. We're talking skill. We're talking the same
metric.
The same metric.
There's so few people.
Just who do we drag in?
The reason why the Big Three actually is useful is because there are so few people that are like really, really high level lyrically and really, really at that level sales wise. And that's what they have in common, and that's why it's so hard to think of anybody else to even throw in that conversation.
They're also the same age. They all come from the same era. You feel me? That was just like before. It was the conversation was Jay-Z and Nas.
Yeah,
and then it got replaced by this conversation. Yeah. You feel me? Like so.
Yeah, which was kind of a muted conversation for a long time. And now it's in the forefront. Everybody has to talk about it conversation.
Right. So I didn't know that they were, but it wasn't that I'm in the Green Range, called myself the Green Ranger. That was a Drake and J. Cole song, wasn't it?
I believe so.
The question is, will Drake and Cole ever work together again?
Yeah, that's what I'm about to say. Like, how did he even, or was he drug in strictly on Big Three conversation?
It's like you get in a fight outside the club and your homie runs.
Yeah.
How do you ever fuck with him again? You could still like him as a person, but do you really want to go to war with him?
Well, Cole and Kendrick were always cooler than they were with Drake.
When you
know
run
what I mean?
at the club, you gotta get disqualified from the.
I highly recommend What's the Dirt's video about Cole versus Kendrick and the years and years of
What's the Dirt. That's my fella since
Great
Sliced
man.
Mozzarella.
I love his videos, and he I have no idea what he's cooking up right now, but he's probably got some bangers in the works. But
for sure.
But if you watch that video, you will walk away from it like, and I want to rewatch the Drake versus Kendrick war, that the Cold War that has been going on for all these years too, because that had like so many like weird little nuggets that nobody fucking remembers anymore that he pointed out in that shit. But
leave it to a Canadian to unearth all this shit.
I know, right? What if fucking Drake links up with What's the Dirt? That could be the kill shot that we all need here.
That is the kill shot.
Oh shit! All right, yo, I'm gonna take one look at the donations before I gotta run because I gotta hop in this plane. I really want everybody. Tap into my Instagram story right now or the No Jumper Instagram story right now if you want to get information about New York, because we do have this insane Fidel's No Jumper collab going down in New York this whole weekend. I'll be out there with a whole bunch of members of the squad, and we're insanely excited about this. We have a pop-up shop going. It will be your opportunity to tap in and meet the 22-ster as well as other members of the No Jumper squad like Lil Romeo, a.k.a. Remo 600. Yo, we got to call him Lil Romeo now.
Remio.
A lot of other people are going to be coming out and everything like that. So tap in with us in New York. I'm just going to try to speed run through.
I might give you a sneak peek too. I might pop out.
He said he might pop out. Will Chicago be seeing No Jumper at Summer Smash in Chicago? That's definitely a possibility. We've been talking about Chicago trip. Maybe we need to also aim for it to be around Summer Smash. That could be very, very. That could be very efficient.
Chicago.
They got.
I can't say the rest of the
chat in the rack.
Crip Jesus said, "What's cracking, No Jumper? Bricc, cuz change the the No Statements podcast. I just had to read it to make sure I wasn't talking shit. Change the No Statements podcast to On 60 podcast. LOL. It sounds so fire. Shout out to No Jumper. Shout out to Crip. I think Crip Jesus was talking shit about me last time I saw anything from him.
I accept. That's the white flag, Crip Jesus. I accept it. We could be.
It was funk.
Shit.
It was funk. Okay.
I'm Blue Jesus.
He was talking about me at one point, but I don't even remember what he said.
That's because I said something and he got to talking about all the No Jumper. Remember Flacco, when I first got here, he like, yeah, you Crip Jesus. Like, nah, I don't even know who that is. I'm Blue Jesus. Ain't no Crip Jesus.
He got mad about that.
Yeah, I was like, man, you not finna confuse my name with no crumb.
Okay, and then final ones here. CW sent $10 and says, shout out Adam, Lush, and Bricc. Sticks in the chat. Adam, watch your booty in New York City. Zesty hoe button might pump you up.
Whoa.
Wow. And then King Jaffe Jofer said, Lush makes No Jumper better. That's a fact. I agree. Lush, I had a good time today, and I look forward. Let's elevate the dialogue. Let's do some long fucking podcasts because I could easily go for another couple hours right now, and I'm always down to burn the midnight oil. But I got to go give Parker Ann a smooch on the head before she goes to bed because she's going to be very upset when she doesn't see me for the next 6 days. But yeah, Dad's a Rolling Stone. Got to go make some money.
Yeah, I'm going through that right now. I'm like, hey, I'm working.
Yeah, I can't imagine why your baby mama would be mad at you for spending many, many days in a row with a bunch of fine bitches filming a reality show.
I'm an entertainer. The perks of being an entertainer.
My girl's supposed to be.
No pun intended. Perks.
My girl's supposed to be. My girl's supposed to be open-minded as fuck, and she might have a hard time with that one. TBH.
Oh no! Everybody in the house that's a male. That's why I'm not even going to get my phone when they get their girlfriends, wives, whatever they are. Even the
security. It's just hell.
Oh no! They want to sit on the phone the whole time till you go to sleep.
Oh my God.
We caught somebody, I'm not saying no names, but he was asleep and we like, hey, whoop, whoop, and his girlfriend responded off the phone.
Hey, look, Chuck Sean said, Bricc, the Green Ranger line is Wayne and Jake Paul.
Yeah.
Fuck the big three. It's still a little wheezy wee. Okay. Yeah. I mean, again, gotta give Lil Wayne his GOAT status, but like he's of a very much prior generation, so he doesn't really pop into our minds, even though yes, he's like one of the greatest.
He put on Drake.
I bet you, if he hop in this,
he's fucking everybody up.
He gonna eat something. He's alive.
The bar work, Wayne to this day is fucking better than everybody.
He's got alliances on both sides.
That shit he did on Kendrick album was crazy. When I was in jail, what the fuck was the name of that song? Bloody Man. What was it?
I forget. But
the shit on Kendrick's album. I don't know.
Dedication 6, the whole entire tape. People like overlook how good he was rapping that. Him over the R.I.P. P&B Rock Every Day We Lit joint. He went fucking bonkers. He killed it over a Rolling Piece, the XXX and Kodak joint. Like that
was a good album. Yeah.
Bruh.
That's crazy. On the YG shit, he said he's still in the studio all day, every day, right now.
Which is almost like it's hard to wrap your head around. It's like he got frozen at a certain point in his life where it's like rapping, lean, bitches. Yeah. And he's just been on repeat and also skating.
Skating for a show.
I mean, hey, you could say he's a rapper turning a skater, but he seems like he does it all the fucking time.
No,
Still haven't seen him do a ollie, but he's definitely out there doing shit, you know?
Could do a kickflip.
Can he?
No.
Hey, I swear to God, I think it's the lead in the bar. Like, nigga, how are you skateboarding off of that shit? Like, what are you? You'll never do a fucking ollie. Like, just imagine being high.
Those fools be loaded like skaters be off the shit.
That's because they've been doing it their whole life,
and they have no fear.
That's like me being loaded with a strap. But I'm gonna perform.
But like you might,
like, you
know the way Zans be having you is where like you think you're a skateboarder. Like fuck
that. I'm already skateboarding, bro. Like shit.
Zan Princess
for sure. Shout out those tatas.
Yo, Tata City. What's going on with that?
I don't know. It's her birthday.
It's her birthday. That was a couple days ago, right?
She got me styled. Oh,
what kind of pants are those?
Okay.
No, this is cool. Yeah. I like that. That's a cool look for you. Like all black. It's like kind of like easy-ish.
It's like a new generation of like before Ed Hardy was fuckboy shit. Almost. That's always.
Wait a minute. So you asked Zan Princess to style you for the reality show?
Me and Zan just opened up like a styling company, like where
fire.
So you're gonna work together on it.
Yeah. I'm gonna bring the clientele. She got the looks.
And is this
I put-
are these clothes you already had?
No.
Oh, she had the clothes as well. That's
So we doing pools, we doing all that stuff. We doing everything that regular what do you call it, fashion stylists, whatever, would do at a photo shoot or
Okay.
a video shoot or a movie. You know what I'm saying? We just getting in there. We want to give the looks for the future.
I like it. I like it. All right, everybody tap in with us in New York. Make sure you smash the like button if you enjoyed this episode, and we will be back real soon. And also smack the like button if you want to see us start knocking out 2 episodes per week.
Yeah.
So that was a possibility.
That might be easier because we're 3 long-winded.
Hey.
This is the big 3.
This is
This
the big 3.
Oh, this is the big 3.
Don't start that shit in the office. It's been 10.
I didn't even think of it like that. Yeah.
10 days.
Okay, I'm not saying
we
I'm the
almost
best.
are there.
Okay, yeah.
My vote is still nay, church.
That's what I said.
Oh, church.
Oh, church.
Don't be late.
Damn you.